Great. Okay, we are streaming on YouTube and we are recording on Zoom. I'm gonna try Lee one more time. Up to panelists, I don't think he can activate that. And I'm gonna look one more time.
It looks like he is now, Colby, a panelist
Is-
or a participant. Oh, no,
no,
no.
he is.
I'm
No, he's
mistaken.
not.
No, I'm wrong.
No, he's not. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. All right, we're gonna open the meeting up at 7:04 p.m. Let's do roll call.
And today is March 21st, 2023. This is a general board meeting. Happy spring, everyone. I know it probably doesn't feel like it.
I like the spring showers. All right, Robin Allen.
I am here.
Okay. Oops, I looked at the wrong one. Hold on. Very good. Arthur's not here yet. He will be. Lewis.
I am here.
Shannon Hartman. Let me look in the attendees. Shannon Karen. I don't see Shannon yet. Okay. Ren Blight.
Here.
Thank you. Freda Berry.
Here.
Okay. Matt.
Here.
Okay, let me call upon Lee.
Copy you. Do you read me?
Oh, yes, we got you. Very good. That's going to work. Perfect. Susanna is excused. I put her as excused. Jonathan Gregory is excused. Tess.
Here.
Thank you. Kevin Dees. Let me look for Kevin. Don't see him. We'll come back. Sean.
Here.
I saw you. And Jake, I saw. Say hi.
Here.
Thanks, Jake. Let me go back. Arthur's going to be here in a minute or two. Back to Shannon Hartman. Don't see her. And Kevin, don't see him. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in attendance this evening so far. Thank you so much. Yes, as it's a rainy night, I'm glad everyone's internet is working so far. Who knows what's going to happen? But we'll try to get through this efficiently as possible. We're going to move on to approve the board minutes. Read it. Motion A, approve the GTLNC February 21st, 2023 general board minutes. Go first.
Robin.
Lee.
Lee, you're second. Thank you. Robin
Affirmative.
first. Lee is second. Discussion on the matter. We'll go to stakeholders first. Stakeholders, we have 2 minutes if you wish to discuss the minutes. Have your public comment on the minutes. Please raise your hand at this time. If I don't see a hand raised, I'm going to move on to board comments. Okay, I'm going to move on to board comments. Comments from the board, please raise your hand. And try to keep this to 2 minutes also for the motion A to approve the minutes from last month. I don't see a hand raised, so we're going to go to the vote. I'm going to start with Robin.
Yes.
Thank you. Arthur's not here yet. Lewis.
Yes.
Shannon, I don't think she's here yet.
Shannon's not here.
Okay. Is she excused, do you think?
I texted her. No, she's supposed to be here, so I'll watch for her.
Okay. Ren.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fred.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Lee. Okay, I heard affirmative. Susanna's not here. John's not here. Tess.
Yes.
Thank you. Kevin's. You hear Kevin?
I
don't think Kevin's here. Nope. Okay.
no, I don't see him.
Sean
Yes.
and Jake.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
9,
8
10,
yeses.
or 9.
9.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm counting. Why am I counting 10? 10 people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'm like that.
You know, I put down these check marks. I thought I was thinking of something else.
No worries. Got it. 10 yes, no abstain, and no no's.
Okay. Thank you, Lewis, for doing that. President's welcome. The motion
Oh,
passes.
Shannon just signed on. It is 7:08.
Okay, I'll bring her on. Thanks, Robin, for looking out, and we'll make a note of that. Bring her on. Panelist. I'm trying to promote her right now. There she goes. Okay, good. We'll make it. Louis, can you make a note of that in the roll call?
Yep.
And yes, so tonight is our last Zoom meeting, as we've known Zoom meetings over the past 2.5 years in this whole pandemic.
Woo!
And next month, we
Great
move
job,
into-
Colby. You did an amazing
Oh
job.
no, thank you, the whole board, for hanging in there. I mean, it's been a rough ride. It's been a learning experience for all of us with technology and learning how to put our personalities and our thoughts online in this strange new world. But it's nice. They're nice to come back to literally the old school, which will be Toluca Lake Elementary. So it's very exciting. So meetings going forward will be either all in person and or hybrid, and we're going to get back into that discussion later on this evening, but not at this moment. I want to thank everyone for hanging in there, and you've all done a wonderful job in navigating this whole crisis and keeping democracy afloat, even on this little level. So we're going to move on to open public forum at 2 minutes each. I'm going to be setting a timer so we can keep efficient. Hold on. I see Joanne. I'm going to set the timer running. Talk and
Hi. First of all, Colby, I want to thank you for being willing for helping Lee with his accommodations, since I cannot be with him, to help him with his phone to navigate the Zoom. And I know he's looking, and we're all looking forward to going back in person. And I also just want to appreciate that this board is happy to go back in person like it used to be, because a lot of the boards aren't there. A lot of boards are at risk of losing their people because they don't want to go back in person. So I do appreciate the positive attitude, and I know you put in a lot of hard work to get the site, and everything like that. So I do want to appreciate and acknowledge you for that, Colby. I do appreciate that.
thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. You have more time if you want. If you have more, but okay.
Oh wait, let me chime in. I guess in this, if Lee has a real issue, he'll call me on his landline, and then I can, raise my hand and try to get, or something. We'll try to work it out. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. But thank you, and I very much thank you for accommodating him today, because I feel bad that I cannot be there in person to help him.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for helping him all this time. I'll leave you able to talk. I selected you so able to talk. So just if you have to chime in, just chime in if somehow we miss Lee for something. So
Okay.
You can jump on real quick and just say, "Oh, Lee's here," if you need to remind us.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Glenn Bailey. Oh, from our budget advocate. Let's see.
Colby, this is a public comment.
Glenn, we're gonna bring you in later, if that's okay, for budget advocacy.
Actually, I was gonna do public comment at this point.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead then.
And I would only do budget advocate if Brandon's not on.
Okay.
I know he's under the weather. Anyway, so thanks. So sorry about the title, but this is Glenn Bailey is an individual. Speaking just first of all, thanks to those board members of Greater Toluca Lake who participate in the Valley Alliance and Neighborhood Council meetings and the other meetings we have of our Neighborhood Council alliances. It's the way that we share information with each other and get updated. My main pitch tonight is, and this may be more as for individual efforts, is the Brown Act is very restrictive in terms of our flexibility once we go back to in-person meetings for folks to be able to join virtually, because it only limits it to 2 to 3 times per year and only under certain circumstances like illness or childcare, et cetera. And so there is a bill that's been introduced, Senate Bill 411, and I'm not sure that you've had a conversation about that at your last meeting, but as an individual, you can certainly contact Senator Portantino. He represents the East Valley, Burbank, Glendale, Northeast Valley areas. in the state Senate and to check out Senate Bill 411, which would allow neighborhood councils to opt in to the opportunity for virtual meetings. You could bifurcate and have your board meetings in person if you wish, and then be able to have committee meetings virtually. It just gives you more flexibility. Right now, they are looking at doing a corrective amendment to make sure it does cover neighborhood councils, even though we're listed in the text of the bill. It says appointed bodies and we're elected. But please do check that out. We're trying to get widespread support because it will require an urgency vote, which is 2/3 of the assembly, 2/3 of the Senate, and approval of the governor in order to make it effective sooner rather than later. It still will be several months before it could get through that process. But we're hoping that hopefully in 3 to 4 months, if everything works out, that we'll then be able to have the ability to have that flexibility and opt in, opt out, et cetera. That's all I wanted to say on that. Thank you. And I'll wait for the budget advocate item. Thanks.
Thank you, Glenn. Any other comments from stakeholders? I see, I thought I saw a hand raised. I'll give it another moment. Sometimes it's hard to find the right button. If not, we're going to have public comment throughout the meeting moving forward. Okay, we're going to move on to city neighborhood news and announcements. Please raise your hand if you are on our list. I did see somebody. I saw Jill Young Manson. I believe you're from West Dubuque Lake. Do you want to speak now? I see you on the list. I see you in the attendees box. Okay, good. And try to keep it kind of brief, if you don't mind. Allowed to talk. Hi, Jill.
Hey there. This is just announcements. I was lower down on the agenda, but I can do them now if that's.
No, I just saw. Yeah, just go ahead. I saw you in the attendees box, and I.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Colby. We'd love to invite you from West Toluca Lake Residents Association to a meeting we're having. Everyone is welcome. We're doing it next Monday, March 27th at 6 p.m. at a private house. And it's usually really well attended, usually 75 or more people. So if you'd like to attend, you can RSVP to info.wtLRA@gmail.com. That's info.wtLRA@gmail.com. And we're going to have a special guest star from Council District 2 Field Deputy Representative Shannon Calland, and also from Assembly Member Laura Friedman's District Director's Office. Sebastian Lozano will be there to answer questions, and we usually have wonderful refreshments, so please join us. It's always very interesting. Second announcement, you may be aware of this, that on this coming Friday, March 24th, there are 3 cleanups of hotspots, and that will include the underpass where Riverside winds around following the natural path of the river, and the 134 freeway. It also includes the Vineland underpass at Riverside and Tahunga and Camarillo underpass. And I think we're all grateful that Paul Krikorian has managed to push this through. So thank you, Paul Krikorian. And then WTLRA works with neighboring communities on initiatives of shared concern. And I know we're all concerned about the effort to preserve open space around the Weddington Golf and Tennis Club in Studio City. So we're urging neighbors and residents to email Councilmember Nithya Raman to voice support for preserving this as a historical cultural monument designation, as opposed to just going ahead and raising it and having other plans. So that if you wish to support it as a historical cultural monument, go to Save Weddington, that's one word, .org, saveweddington.org. And last but not least, there's a pit bull, so sweet, who needs a 10-day foster placement, only 10 days, He's a senior dog, very near to the end of his life, but apparently extremely affectionate. And his name is Jake. And if you are interested, let me give you the contact information. Shira Astroff is the woman handling this, and her email is Shira, that's spelled SHIRA, at the Animal Rescue Mission, that's all one word, the Animal Rescue Mission.org. And if you didn't get that, I'm sure you could go through West Toluca Lake Resident Association and we can send you that information. I wish I could show the pic. He looks like a cow with a spotted nose and he's wrapped in a plaid blanket. I'd take him if I could. Thank you all so much. Thanks for including me in the meeting, and let's keep on keeping on.
Thanks, Jill. And I'll put RSVP yes to me for West Loop Lake, that meeting on Monday.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Great, thank you. Let's see, Glenn, you and budget, or actually, sorry, I'm going to go to Officer Delbar. I'll get him up and, or actually, he would be more public safety. Anyone else from? Oh, Shannon Collins.
Also, you saw Kevin is on, right?
Yeah, I brought him on a panel. I tried to bring him on a panel. I think we had a technical issue. You can go ahead, Robin, and try to get that. I'm going to bring on CD2, Shannon Collins. Shannon?
Hello.
Shannon with an A, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Of course. Happy to be here.
Go ahead. Yes.
So I'm not sure if you followed up with Mr. Hogg regarding the item being placed on the agenda for Friday. I'm not sure if you were able to get any feedback from him yet.
No, I didn't. I did look at the city agenda and I didn't see it placed, but I do have the motion that, so it's apparently going to put on whenever when's the next meeting after the Friday meeting? I know there's a recess.
Right? It'll be Tuesday. Yes. So I think they're trying to get it before the recess.
Yes.
So I think that's one of the things I'm sure he's going to be working on. So keeping our fingers crossed, because the motion has already been completed. So that's
yes, I saw that. Yeah, that was good.
Yes. So any other updates? We're getting closer to the street lights for North Hollywood, for Toluca Lake. I've already had a meeting with BSL and they identified, I believe it's on Woodbridge, a location for 7 to 8 street lights there. But as we go throughout Toluca Lake, we're going to have to identify other areas, but that's going to have to be brought to my attention from someone who's going to kind of spearhead that. So I'm waiting to get feedback and hear from residents and community members in Toluca Lake to see if they want their street lit up. If it's not, let's see what other updates. I think that's pretty much it. For me, my head is spinning, but I think that's pretty much it. It's been just a very hectic day. So glad this is towards the end of the day.
Do you go on break as well, or just the city?
Oh no, just the the city council, the council members.
Okay.
And you believe the recess is about 2 weeks?
That's it.
It is 2 weeks. Okay. Any questions for? I see Tess has her hand raised. Hi, Tess.
Hi there. Thank you very much, Shannon, for your time yesterday. We're really looking forward to having you next Monday at our meeting. We'll roll out the red carpet for you. And I want to make sure that you got my email after we chatted yesterday regarding the special, regarding the special enforcement zone cleanups. Did you happen to see that, I hope?
I believe I did.
Okay.
Yes, I believe I did see that.
Yeah, that just basically confirms some of the things we discussed, and I brought a few other
Yes,
items
I
to your
did,
attention.
yes.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
thank you.
And
Thank you for putting that together.
very good. Okay, thank you. We'll be in touch and we'll see you next week.
Okay, sounds good. I look forward to it.
We do too.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.
Next up, I'm going to call upon Officer Delbar. I know he's very busy. Hi, Officer Delbar.
Hey, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Very well.
right,
Curtis,
yes.
one quick second. I want to acknowledge that Arthur is now here. He came in at 7:21. And did you get, Louis, did you get Kevin's time when he came in?
Oh, I didn't see Kevin come in.
Okay, Kevin came in at, I think, 18. Let me just take a peek.
Yes, 7:18.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, sorry, Curtis.
No, you're good. All right, so jumping into some quick crime stats. I'm gonna run through the numbers, and of course, these are year to date. So we're down in our homicides 100%. We're down in our rapes 100%. We're down in our robberies 11%. We're up in our aggravated assaults 26%. Down in our burglaries 28%. Down in our grand theft autos by 20%. Down in our burglary from motor vehicles by 15%. And down in our thefts by 10%. So we're looking amazing. As I look on the map, however, what I'm seeing is some burglary from motor vehicles. So just to reiterate, the lock it, hide it, keep it. I know it does sound trivial, but it does really help deter those opportunistic crimes from occurring. That only take a few seconds to really happen, whether it's a window smash or a quick opening of a car doors by checking door handles. The other thing I wanted to bring into effect was I just wanted everyone to be aware of people in the neighborhood of casing homes. We had some burglary concerns over in Studio City, and most of the methods of entry were into the back sliding glass doors or door or glass doors in the back of the homes. So be aware that if someone does knock on your door, you can answer the door either by talking through the door or using a ring device or some kind of doorbell device to talk to them. You don't have to open the door, but let them know that you are home. And then last thing I wanted to say is with vacant properties. So these are a continuing issue in North Hollywood. If you do come across a vacant property that you believe there are squatters inside the property that do not belong in the property, they don't live there, you can always email me with that owner's information. And then also we can include Department of Building Safety in the notification as well, just so we can try and stop that before it gets too out of control. Other than that, that's all I have, Colby.
Thank you, Officer Delbar. It must be the rain that's maybe keeping crime down this past month. Seriously.
That's what I've been hearing from many people is many people that have been having encampments near their locations, they have gone away and they believe it's due to the rain.
Interesting. Any comments and questions for Officer Delbar before we move on? Tess.
Yeah, real quick question. Curtis, thanks for your call back the other day. I just want to make sure you have this Friday, hopefully on your calendar, regarding these special enforcement zones. I made sure to include you on an email about that.
Yes, I am aware of the new enforcement zones. Absolutely.
Good. Okay, thank you.
And was there a car crash or something on Mariota and Riverside Drive? Officer Delbar the other day, I saw there's a large, that radiation. It's a doctor's office. It's corner of
Imaging center.
Imaging center, yeah. And the window was shattered. The big window on the corner was shattered. And about a day before, I saw a bunch of fire trucks and police cars racing to the scene around that area. Just wondering if you knew anything about that. And now I see it's all boarded up, and there's a big crack in the wall of the building.
Yeah, it appears that there was some kind of accident and something happening with the fire department where they needed our assistance with the individual.
Okay. But it wasn't crime, it was just an accident.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Officer Delbar. We'll move forward. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Stay dry.
Stay dry and warm.
All right, Colby, I see Michelle Vergara from.
Yes, I'm going to call on her. She had her hand raised.
right.
She's very patient. Hi, Michelle.
Hello. Hi,
Thank you
good
for
evening,
waiting.
everyone. Thank you so much. My name is Michelle Vergara. I am the senior in East Valley area rep for Mayor Karen Bass. So today we have some very exciting news. Today actually marks the 100th day of Mayor Bass being in office. So with that, within her first 100 days, her administration has launched new and innovative strategies to confront homelessness, as you all are aware. So through her Project Safe initiative, Insight Safe, excuse me, initiative, more than 500 unhoused individuals have been serviced. They've been provided with wraparound services and housed. So she does have a goal of expanding that even further throughout the city. The Insight Safe initiative has already come out to the Valley, specifically focused on an encampment in the North Hollywood area. And as things continue to develop, they will target other areas of focus. In addition to that, close to 100 city commissioners have been already named. 120 civic leaders have been appointed to the mayor's transition advisory team. And in regards to community safety, the mayor has established a new Office of Community Safety, which basically supports non-punitive safety strategies, which include like civilian first responders, violence interruption, reentry services, and youth diversion programs. So up to date, within the Mayor's Office of Gang Reduction and Youth Development, they have responded to over 150 incidents. And the crisis response team has deployed about 120 volunteers and responded to 70 incidents. I hope that you all are staying safe and dry during this very crazy weather. But if you experience power outages in your area, see any fallen trees, want to report a pothole, I encourage you all to visit ledwp.com/outages. Or you can always call 311 or also report through the MyLA 311 app. And last but not least, as you all are well aware, with the strikes that are happening within LAUSD, schools are closed. And in light of that, the city has actually activated several city recreation and park centers throughout the city, so that families have a place to take their kids during this time. In addition to that, the county, I know, has additional sites that are open, that are offering programming for youth up until, I think, the age 17, as well as libraries. And the zoo actually has free admission for currently enrolled LAUSD students grades K through 12. If they have a chaperone that's accompanying them, the chaperone will have to pay a $5 fee. And tickets are able to be purchased at the box office. And this is only happening during the while schools are closed. So happy to take any questions right now if there are any.
Thank you, Michelle, for that information. And about particularly, I have a question about the strike. Next month, I'm hoping that our neighborhood council will be going to in-person meetings at Toluca Lake Elementary School.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you say schools are closed, do you think that would affect like the physical plant manager or something like that, or just is it strictly just teachers?
I believe it may be everyone, because in addition to at least what I was seeing and reading, it's also bus drivers, some maintenance staff, so additional folks that help in schools. As of right now, it's closed, but there is a phone number actually that folks can call in to get specific details about your certain school to see if they're open or if they have anyone. I don't know if I have it handy with me. Actually, it's right here. That number is 213-443-1300. And this line is open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And there is also a link or a site that you can visit, achieve.lausd.net/labor updates, to see the latest happenings of what's going on with the school closures as of the moment.
Okay, that's great to know. Hopefully this strike will be resolved or before before next month. But thank you so much for that information. I see
Yeah, no
Lewis
problem.
has a question.
Yeah. Hi, Michelle. Louis Scotchy here. I question for you back to the mayor's what seems to be very successful Inside Safe initiative. I know that what we were just speaking to with Shannon in CD2 is what they're calling a Care Plus cleanup, and some assistance for some of our unhoused neighbors who we've been very familiar with over the last 4 years. Curious how that coordinates with the mayor's Inside Safe initiative, which I've seen have great results in other council districts, and if that is a part of what we're about to see on March 24th for these folks.
Yeah, so basically what Inside Safe is, it's a new model that kind of like lays a path forward for our unhoused and Angelinos, and basically dispels the myth that a lot of unhoused people don't want to come inside. So from its initiation, there's outreach that gets done at the specific encampment, right, to try to build rapport and figure out what folks' needs are, etc. And then they send a team over, to help folks move indoors. And once they're indoors, they are provided with wraparound services, and also get assistance with getting connected to more permanent housing. That way they don't return back on the streets. So the Inside Safe is really about like locking arms with all our other partners. Our office works very closely with our local council offices actually to really try to target specific areas of concern within their districts. So it is a partnership. It's not, like we're working in silos. So there's extensive talks and meetings that happen beforehand before an operation like this gets executed. But it is a collaboration. And if it's, a specific area that CD2 has already put forth as a possible Inside Safe location, our office will definitely work on coordinating those efforts with them.
Nice.
I
Thank you.
see Tess Taylor.
Thank you. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for being here. So my question for you is, what happens to people who refuse services?
So with that, it hasn't necessarily been the case. I know that for one of the encampments, particularly out here in the Valley, I believe there was one individual. They still continue to try to work with that person to try and get them housed. But aside from that, everyone else just really seems like, they're really trying to provide them with the appropriate tools so that they don't land back on the streets.
Michelle, I appreciate that, but that has been the opposite of my personal experience. So maybe you and I can connect later, but
okay.
We have a whole lot of people, many of whom I'm personally acquainted with now, who I've helped and continue to help, and who will not come indoors. So this is a chronic issue that has been, plaguing our neighborhood and other communities. And what you say does not match what I see and experience. So,
yeah,
but I'm committed to helping. But there has to be a point at which when people refuse services, we do something. So maybe you could drop me a line, or I'd be happy to drop you a line.
Yeah, happy to do that. And I'm specifically talking about like the Inside Safe operations that have taken place so far.
Okay.
There have been well over 500 folks within the various encampments that have already been identified and targeted. Again, the program is being piloted, so we're learning as we go, trying to make it better the next time and the next time and the next time. And it's eventually going to continue expanding within the Valley. So far, we've only had one location that has been serviced. But again, this all depends, how quickly we're able to work with the council office, the areas of interest. But yeah, definitely more than happy to circle back with you on anything else that you may have additional questions on.
Thank you.
No problem.
Well, thank you, Michelle. I don't see any other hands raised from the board or attendees. Actually, I do see, hold on. Oh, Erica, yes.
Oh, I was just raising my hand for whenever it's time for me to give my update.
Okay, yes, we'll get to you right now. Thank you, Michelle. I'll have Yes, I have.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Michelle. And hold on, I have someone else had their hands raised. Let's see who that is in our panelist box.
It was me, Shannon.
Oh, Shannon, you had a
Shannon,
question for Michelle?
I just want to ask Michelle what her email is.
Michelle, you still here? She might have dropped off.
Oh, shoot.
I'm sure
I'm
it's
still here. I'm
It's
still
still
here.
on.
Just what's your email?
Yes, it's Michelle, common spelling, Michelle dot Vergara, V as in Victor, ERGARA
Mhm.
at lacity.org.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks.
Thanks, Michelle. Now we're going to move on to Erica.
Thank you, Kobe, and
Thank
good
you.
evening,
You still got your
everyone.
hand raised. Yep, there you are. Thanks, Erica.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to run through these, but I'll start by stating that the monthly profile was pushed out by our department the first week of the month, so you all should have received that. A reminder that it was already quickly noted that we are returning to in-person meetings starting March 30th. Another update is that we have a handful of information relating to the election season. On that note, I just wanted to remind everyone that our candidate filing period opened up February 22nd and is expected to close on April 8th. Our vote by mail ballot request is from April 23rd to June 3rd. And then our election day is scheduled for June 22nd. To date, in fact, since this afternoon, the last time I checked, we currently do not have any candidate applications submitted. So with that, I'm going to I'm scheduled to canvass in the Greater Toluca Lake Neighborhood Council area this Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Me and a few of other staff from our department are going to start around the Toluca Lake Elementary School area and kind of work our way out from there. But if anyone on the board has any suggestions, I know Ren has provided a few suggestions, so thank you for that. We'll also be doing our best to try to reach those areas as well. If there's anyone else, please feel free to shoot me an email or, make an announcement here to share where you all think that we should target our canvassing efforts. This is going to be twofold. The idea is just to create general awareness and engagement within the community about Greater Toluca Lake, and then share information about the election that we're currently in, and hoping to encourage some community members to submit a candidate application. The last thing that I did want to know is that you may have received an email from Thomas Soon, one of our directors from the department, about the new CIS portal feedback session. This is scheduled for this Thursday as well at 6:30 p.m. And so if you haven't seen the email already, our department is working with the Information Technology Agency, ITA, to create a new portal. So we're going to be going through that, as well as we're taking any feedback on our CIS dashboard. If I'm not mistaken, this invitation was sent out to the CIS filers per NC, although I believe it is also open to other board members as well. So that's all that I have for you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. You have two hands raised. I saw.
Actually, I do too, and I can't figure out where the hand, how crazy is that? I can't figure out where my hand, every time I touch it, it goes off.
Okay, go ahead, Robin. Oh, you don't
I'll go whenever, if you have
something.
something.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I don't.
Okay, Erica, I just had a question. What happens if we don't have any candidates and we don't have enough people running and we don't fill the 14 seats? What happens to our neighborhood council?
So that puts us in a few possible different situations. The first one being is that, say we did get a candidate application for all 14 of our seats, but only 14 to fill every seat, then in that situation, we would not trigger an election. It would simply be board affirmation. So whoever applied for a seat will get that seat. That's one scenario. The second scenario is that if we receive candidate application enough to where we would be able to have a quorum, then again, we would be in a board affirmation situation. Then come our first meeting in July, we would then vote as a board to start filling those vacancies. Now, if we're put in a situation where we do not have enough candidate applications and we can't reach a quorum, then that would trigger our loss of quorum policy, which and then the department would work directly with the NC to try to bring us up to quorum. Try to fill those vacancies so that way we're able to have a quorum. I
Okay.
hope that helps.
And Erica, just one more thing. The farmer's market this last weekend was raining, but we have a farmer's market in Toluca Lake every Sunday, so that might be a great place to target. I know Matt has tried to get us to all participate in reaching out to the community. I know I personally have done it in the community, just not at the farmer's market, but that's a good location as well.
Thank you for that reminder, Robin. Yeah,
Sure.
I'll do my best to try to get out there one of these Sundays.
Great.
I see Shannon has her hand raised.
Hi, Erica. Hey, so this is Shannon Hartman. That I am I guess we call it chairperson of public safety. And I was wondering where we were at as far as having board members, too many board members on our committee. The question I
Yes.
asked you, yeah, but what do we do about that?
Yes, thank you, Shannon. So I believe it was just last week, I sent an email and as a follow-up to this, but I'll start by saying, from what I hear, we may have more than one committee that maybe has one too many board members on there. So I'm not sure what guidance was provided to the board previously in these types of situations, but I do want to make it clear, as I also noted in my email, that in both the Greater Toluca Lake bylaws, we have a specific number. We have limitations to how many members we can have on each committee. In addition to that, we also have to be careful that we're not having the extent number of board members on a committee where we would trigger an official action. As you all know, we have a quorum number, and within that quorum number, there is an official action, a number of board members that we need to pass something. So that's where we want to be careful. One, not violating our bylaws, and then two, making sure that we don't have an official action number of board members on that committee. So if you haven't done so already, I'm happy to forward my email to you again and touch base with you offline. But yes, we do have some guidance in our bylaws in our bylaws, as well as our standing rules that can help this situation.
So do we basically, I guess, just ask somebody to leave the committee? Is that how it works?
You know what? I would have to take a look at our bylaws and standing rules, but if I'm not mistaken, yes, the committee chair has the authority to determine the membership of their committee, unless the board, something along the lines, unless the board decided otherwise.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments from?
There's Joanne Rivas has her hand.
No, from
the board.
Tess is to be our last board member.
Hi,
And then we'll go to
Erica.
speakers.
Erica, so thank you for that update. So when was this last email from you sent regarding the committee situation?
Yeah, if you want to give me 2 seconds for me to, or 2 minutes to search through my inbox or my sent box, I'm happy to give that exact date and time. But if I'm not mistaken, it was just sent last week. So if you all can give me a moment, I can find this.
All right, that's fine. I'm not sure if I was included or if I was meant to be included, but either way, if we could double check. Was it Friday March 17th.
I'm checking now, so let's see.
Okay.
So yes, it was
Okay.
Friday, March 17th at 4:53 p.m.
Okay, got it. 4:55 p.m. is when it was received. Thank you. That got mixed into some other emails. And the other item is regarding the chair's ability to form the membership of the committee. I would propose that the chair, ask people who may wish to step down before doing something like that. And I think that we might have one or two people on that committee, but just my suggestion, Shannon. Thank you, Erica.
Absolutely, and thank you, Tess. Again, yes, just emphasizing, please take a look at the Greater Toluca Lake bylaws and the standing rules, as though both of those documents provide some guidance on how to go about this, Shannon. So yeah, I'm happy to help interpret that if you need any additional assistance.
Thank you, Erica. We have one question from stakeholders. Joanne?
Yes, hi, Erica, thank you. I just have a suggestion when you're doing canvassing. If you could just maybe, since there's 4 areas within the council district that are, should be, or one we want to represent. So if you could maybe do one canvassing in each of those areas to try to get people from all 4 areas. And that would be my suggestion and hope. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I don't see any hands raised, so we're going to go on to anyone else from, thank you, Erica. We'll move on now, but thank you so much.
It looks like that's everyone, Colby. We can move on.
Okay, I don't see anyone else. I see somebody. Oh yeah, no, Glenn Bailey. Hi, Glenn.
Hello, time for budget advocates?
Yes.
And I assume Brandon's not on?
I didn't see him. I'm looking one more time. I don't see him.
Okay, so Brandon's been under the weather, and I know he did communicate. He sent a report, and we very much appreciate all of his hard work with the neighborhood councils in Region 4. But since I had an opportunity to jump on, I thought I would try to just do so and just share a couple of things since I am able to speak, and we hope Brandon gets well soon. First of all, we do appreciate the active participation of Tess Taylor with the budget advocates. So, that you're well represented actively, and that's a great thing. The budget advocates are really trying hard to get a written report out every month at the beginning of the month, the very end for the coming month. So the last report was emailed out to all board members late on Thursday, March 2nd. So we try to put all of our updates on there, and I will, with a few exceptions, won't repeat those. But just so you know, those reports going forward, the first half or so will be an analysis and update regarding the city's budget in terms of the city controller, the mayor, any documents, quarterly, the financial status reports that come out every quarter, the controller's report. So we try to put all that information in there just as an overview of the budget. So I'm not going to touch on any of that. It's all in there. Secondly, just something that was not in the monthly report that did happen in February was that we did have a town hall with the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment general manager at the time, Raquel Beltran, on their budget proposal, and that affects the neighborhood councils because of the different initiatives in there. That still stands. It was submitted to Mayor Garcetti. Mayor Bass inherited it, and they'll be making recommendations on April 20th for done and all the departments. So that was recorded. It's on our website, budgetadvocates.org, and you can view the presentation, and the PowerPoint is uploaded there as well. So that was held February 11th. And probably Tess mentioned the meeting with regards to the mayor that we had with the mayor on February 14th. So it was a good meeting. It was referenced in the report. But one of the things that, a number of things that she really took note on, I think, that I did want to share or highlight was the issue that the neighborhood council budgets in the first 8 years of existence of neighborhood council was $50,000 a year, and for most of those years we were able to roll over $50,000 each year for 2 years. So 50 plus 50 plus 50 maximum, right? 150,000, although no one had that. And now we're at 32,000 plus a 10,000 rollover. And she was very interested to learn that, coming in, really from outside the city family. And so I mentioned that only because if you have a interest in that issue, you may want to agendize and weigh in on that, or weigh in as individuals, since her budget proposal will be coming out on April 20th. And some neighborhood councils have taken action. They are weighing in on that. The new city budget council file will be 23-0600. And I haven't checked for a few days, but it hadn't been open when I last checked, but that will be the council file number. And anything related to the upcoming proposed budget, you can file your community impact statements there. Our budget day remains as scheduled, Saturday, June 17th. We have decided that it will be virtual this year, with a commitment to go in person down at City Hall next year. So otherwise it'll be, I think 9:30 to 1, something like that, 9 to 1 on that Saturday, June 17th via Zoom. Breaking news. I think I can say this, that it appears we have a vacancy now in Region 4. And that's based on a resignation letter. I don't know if it has to be accepted or not, but anyway, stay tuned, because we may be filling a vacancy in this region for the budget advocates. Only budget reps are eligible. There's 2 per neighborhood council. So stay tuned. I'll be overseeing that, so stay tuned with that. And so thanks very much for listening, and we do hope Brandon gets well soon.
Thank you, Glenn. I see a quick comment from Tess.
Hi, very quick. Thank you for that, Glenn. I do enjoy the work that I guess all of us do, but you forgot the headline. You buried the lead, which is that Paul Krikorian has agreed to speak to open the LA Budget Advocates Budget Day on Saturday, June 17th. So I think, his office he's accepted the invitation. I think that's worth mentioning, because he is our council member. Thank you.
And thanks for your efforts making that happen. We always like to have the mayor, the council president, the chair of the city council budget and finance committee, as well as the city controller. And all 4 of those positions are filled by different people this time. So thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. And we hope Brandon feels better. I don't see any hands raised from the stakeholders, so we'll let you go. And with that, we will close our neighborhood news and announcements, city news and announcements, and move forward. Thank you so much. And I think we're going to move the agenda around a little bit. I want to do Arthur's treasury report first, because we have a lot of financial motions to vote on tonight, and I want to know how much money we have to do so. Arthur, you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, good. Let's hear from you first.
So Arthur, can you share your screen?
Yeah, let me bring him up let me get him ready for that. I'm looking for him. Hold on.
And then read the motion.
Sure.
Let me hold on. I have to give him screen sharing ability. I'll make it co-host.
Okay, I'll share my screen. One second. And then I'll read the motion. So we have motion, well, this is out of order, so let me find it. Motion H, approve the February 2023 MER and expenditures for reconciliation to the city clerk. Do we have a first?
Robin.
Robin. Do we have a second?
Shannon.
Shannon. Thank you very much. Okay, so February was a light month. We started the month with $24,612. We had our Google invoice come through for $102, and that was the only expenditure. And so we had ended February with $24,510. And I know that all of you are going to be asking about, how much of this $24,510 is available to spend. So let me also switch to another spreadsheet. 1 second. Okay, and let me move some things around on my screen to maximize it. And so basically, I have here our original budget of $32,000 back at the beginning of the year, and everything from July to February is actuals. And what I had done here is I had programmed the NPGs on the budget of $5,000 for PALs, $4,200 for, let me go check that just so I can, for the printer. And I believe there was another $400 for banners, which I put in the NPGs, but now I think that should be promotional items. I kept our social media admin in there as well as our web hosting. And I think the only thing that's not in here now that I look at this, I'm so sorry that this isn't, all there, but we need to put the $5,000 for the banners that we applied for, or that we had approved earlier this month. And so with all that, with everything that's programmed into our agenda today, this shows that we are spending about 35 of our 32, right? So sorry for doing math right in front of you guys. And so that has us about $3,000 over.
You mean if we were to, I was confused. You mentioned the copier. I mean, I think, did you mention things, items
The
that we haven't even voted on yet?
I beg your pardon?
Did you mention, you mentioned, I thought you mentioned a copier in this, which is something we haven't even voted on yet.
Yes,
saying that,
so that's what I did, Colby. I took everything for this spreadsheet here. I took everything that was on the budget and then programmed it as if we were going to, if we spent everything, would we, have enough, so to speak.
You're saying if we approved all the financial motions of tonight's meeting.
Correct.
Okay. So okay, but so okay, and we don't want to do that. It looks like it's over. Okay, so all right, so basically as a so if we actually have 4,200 plus 835 plus 523, because I'm taking can you subtract everything that we would be voting on tonight?
Yes. So
okay.
The 523 is in here. The 835 is in there. I have the MailChimp in there. I have the banners in there. The NPGs for 5,000 to PALs, and then 4,200 for, I think it was the Canon.
Yeah, that's the Canon. Yes.
And then there was also 400.
There's also and I actually have for Motion G, I have a solid number now because that was in the budget. Sorry, that was in the agenda packet, the price sheet. That was $477 for 3 months of. See, it says $38 per hour at $5 per rental day. The LAOSD actually compiled that, and it turned out to be $447.
Okay.
For Motion G. But okay. So we're cutting it. Yeah, definitely cutting it close. A little too close. Way too close. Okay, any other questions? Tess?
Yeah, so Arthur, our new fiscal year starts July 1st, correct?
Correct.
So and we're typically dark in July, correct?
June.
No, we're dark in
So-
August. We're
Oh,
dark in
sorry.
August and
We're-
December.
Okay, so
So-
we're typically dark in August. So do we need to back out expenditures, sort of overhead stuff like MailChimp, website, in order to make sure we don't exceed our?
We still do newsletters, etc. on dark months. They still go out.
So, and my question is directed to Arthur. Arthur, are we going to have enough money to cover those expenses for the, until the budget refreshes with the fiscal year, the new fiscal year?
So so look, if we approve everything that's on the budget right now, we're going a little bit over. Okay.
Right.
But usually, let's say, we don't have whatever money for, I guess, the MailChimp or something like that. I mean, that expense is just going to get rolled into the next year.
Okay, so
I guess in terms of keeping the lights on.
okay. So if we were to blow out our budget tonight and it's March, our expenditures, our overhead expenditures for April, May, June, July would roll into the next fiscal year budget. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, is that appropriate?
Well, that's usually a known. So if we do cross budget years and an invoice came from the previous budget year, we would have to have let's say an invoice related to a previous budget year and it crossed the budget year. Usually the city clerk would have us specifically for that.
Okay, well, I'm just, I'm just concerned about using next year's money before we even get it, and that we stay within our budget during this fiscal year. That's my concern, and that we account for and set aside whatever administrative or overhead expenses are needed, MailChimp, whatever the case may be. So that would be my question and concern. So is this, I'm just a little bit surprised to hear that we're spending next year's money before we already.
No, we're not doing that. See, we're not
Okay.
necessarily doing that. These NPGs on tonight are up to those amounts.
Okay, but that doesn't include the overhead amounts that we would need before, our fiscal year
No,
renews.
it's not, and that's why we're talking and having this conversation now.
Okay.
Tess,
All right.
I guess I did this just so you had a full picture going into the rest.
Okay.
I'm not saying we are going to spend all this stuff. I just wanted you to be well aware that there are a lot of expenditures on the agenda.
Okay, well, I see that, which is why my question is being asked. So,
Yeah.
all right, as long as we hold back enough money to cover ourselves, that's my concern. That's it.
It's a big concern. Also, let's not forget we have still election expenses lurking around, and things like that. Again, these are big numbers that came in, and again, I know we didn't have enough money to necessarily fulfill all of these NPGs. I just want to put them on the agenda and see what we can do. And our expenses going forward, I didn't get to this yet, but will be higher. In-person meetings are expensive. Unlike, I wasn't privy to the knowledge before, but I don't believe that we were, as you probably saw on the agenda, LAUSD is charging us for the use of the school. And it's not necessarily that inexpensive. It does add up because we have 6 meetings a month.
And was that always the case, Colby?
I don't believe so. No, I don't believe it was.
Do you know why that's changed, especially when we're helping
I
them with?
I don't know why it's changed. LAUSD wants their money. And that's, if you might have seen that email I included about the polling place also. It was included in the packet. It discusses a little bit, I believe, about, LAUSD's wanting money from us, or from all neighborhood councils to use facilities, to use school facilities. So that's an expense that we hadn't, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, we haven't had before the pandemic, when we were meeting in person back then. It's not horrible, but it's definitely a chunk of the budget. And again, we are required to at least have a quorum of in-person meetings, so it's not something that's inescapable as far as the law is written at this time. So as we do vote on these MPGs tonight, I want us to be cautious financially. That's all I have to say. Ren? Yes, hi, Ren.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment a couple of things. The reason LAUSD is going to go ahead and charge us money now is, they've got a strike going on, and a lot of their people are asking for a higher rate. So I think they're trying to budget and get money from wherever they can. I would think we could pass when you say not as up to a maximum of on these NPGs, and maybe we should tell PALS or whoever else is on there that it's subject to money availability, so that, for example, PALS, maybe we give them $2,500 this fiscal year and another $2,500 early next fiscal year, rather than waiting until the end of the fiscal year. Would be a way to cover it without climbing out on a limb. I don't think we should be committing more than we have at this point.
Well, when we get to the PALS MPG, yes, so we'll say. I don't think the $5,000 is the price of the entire program. That's just that's the amount that they ask for. They ask for the most, and then we go down from there. Hi, Tess.
Thank you for that, Ren. Are you aware that this, and it makes sense logically, although I don't like it, LAUSD would stop charging this fee when the strike is over, or do you have any sense of that at all, one way or the other?
My sense is that it's unlikely that they would stop charging us forward and see that the source small, but cover some of their expenses. And
okay. Thank you.
It's appropriate, I think, for us to be, paying something for the use of the hall.
It adds up, though. It's $38 an hour. It does add up. Okay. Any other hands? I don't see from the stakeholders. I don't see any. Oh, I see Joanne.
Yes, hi. I respectfully disagree with Ren. I think that the school systems should not only not charge the neighborhood councils, I think they should be encouraging their students to participate and understand and learn about how government and democracy works at the neighborhood level, so they can learn how it works on the larger levels. So I think there could be like a quid pro quo, in the sense that maybe open up a student seat, and the LAUSD can, nominate a student to sit on the board. There should be something, but to me, it's in bad taste that LAUSD would have to sit there and charge money to pay, because they don't want to pay the teachers out of their budget. They got to milk it from the neighborhood councils, who really don't get a lot of money as it is. And that, that money could be better used for MPGs, for programs that help our communities. That's just my suggestion. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. Any other comments from stakeholders? If not, we go to vote on Arthur's motion. Okay, Arthur, I don't see any hands raised, so do as you wish.
Okay, I'll read the motion one more time. Motion H, approve the February 2023 MERN expenditures for reconciliation submission to the city clerk. Robin?
Yes.
Arthur? Yes. Lewis?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Ren?
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Lee,
Let me check. Let's see. Where are you, Lee?
I'll go on to Suzanne.
Hold on. Yeah.
Suzanne is out. She's
Okay.
excused.
Jonathan,
He's excused.
Tess,
Abstain.
Kevin,
I'm gonna
Kevin's
have to-
ineligible
yeah,
for
I-
his training to complete for financial.
Got it.
Is so ineligible.
Yep.
Mhm.
sorry. And Sean.
Yes.
And let's go back to Lee.
That's affirmative. Copy.
Okay.
And I'm a yes.
Got it. Thank you.
I'm gonna mute you. Your feedback. Okay.
We have an emergency there.
I see 10 yeses.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 yeses, 1 abstain, 2 ineligible, and 2 excused. So motion passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Great. Thank you, Arthur. Moving on, we will go back. Let's see. I did see a representative from PALS earlier. Let me see if you're on here still. Okay, Dan? Dan Maradoff? Are you there? He's in the attendees list, but I think we'll move on to another motion and wait for Dan to come on and talk about the MPG application from his organization. Now that we're in exec committee, I'm going to talk about in-person meeting updates and discussion. This will take a while. And Erica, if you're here, please feel free to chime in because it's confusing. As you know, after March 31st, we are required to go into in-person meetings, and it boils down to this way where the direction we're headed to right now. Actually, hold on, let me pause. Let me get Dan on. I'll come back to in-person meeting discussion. That can happen anytime. Hi, Dan. Dan, are you there? I can't hear you.
There he is.
I don't hear him though.
Well, his microphone is not muted, so maybe it's something on his end.
Okay.
Dan, are you there? Can you raise your hand? There we go. Great.
There you go. He's raising it. He's lowering it.
So can you hear us? Yes.
We can't hear you. Can you
So
put your
we
camera on? Can you put your camera on so we can see you and make sure we're making contact?
Colby, sometimes it's better to not have the camera if there are connectivity issues because it
I know.
requires.
I just want to make sure that he can at least. Let me try this.
just think, Colby, we won't have to deal with any of this when we're in person.
I know this is hard. This is so hard. Okay, I don't know.
Should Dan connect via the phone? He could maybe call in.
Maybe. Do we have that number, Andy? Let's see where it is.
It's at the top of the agenda. Let's
I
see.
see it, yeah.
Can you hear me
Dan,
at
if you have
all?
a pen and paper.
Yeah, wait, I think, Dan, is that you?
Robin, can you hear me?
Yes?
Okay, I apologize, gentlemen, and ladies. Something's wrong with my computer, but if you can hear me now, that'd be great.
We do. Dan, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dan. I'm actually first
thank
going to read
you.
the motion so we can open up discussion very briefly. And then
I'm
once I
Dan
open up-
Marinoff. I'm with the East Valley Pals with here in North Hollywood Station on Burbank.
Great.
And,
Hold on. Actually, just going to read this motion so we can just get through this done.
Oh, I
Motion
apologize.
B, to approve a neighborhood purpose grant, NPG, of up to $5,000 to support East Valley Pals LAPD North Hollywood's Jeopardy program, benefiting at-risk youth. For a first one, please. Motion.
Robin.
Thanks, Robin. A second on this one?
Sean.
Sean. Okay, go ahead. Dan.
Thank you, board members. We are requesting the MPGs for, we find it, or we believe it is vital for our community through our sworn personnel, the officers, to guide, to train, to mentor these at-risk and Jeopardy kids here in our community. Introducing them to awareness, to the fine arts, to scholarships, and to, again, mentoring them and bring them out into the community.
I believe I believe last year our neighborhood council contributed to a similar program. Yes.
We do need more than the $5,000 that we requested. The additional funds we raised through our community programs, asking for and requesting donations directly to PALS to support the children, the at-risk and Jeopardy children.
And does this take place all year round, or I see actually it's probably in your
Yes, it is, sir. The Jeopardy program is all year round.
Okay. Any questions for Dan from these board members? Please raise your hand. I see your hand, Joanne, but we're gonna. Is this for Joanne? Is this for Lee?
No, it's not. I just put my hand up for when you come to stakeholders. But you may want to ask Lee if he may want, if you can ask him if he wants to.
Lee, do you want to chime in on this? Let me make sure you're unmuted. I believe you are. Where are you? I'm looking for Lee. There he is. Okay, he's unmuted. Okay, so I didn't hear from Lee. Tess, I saw your hand first.
Yeah, quick question. I think this is a very worthwhile program. Do you have any sense of how much we've contributed in the past? I don't see any within the last year or two. Does that reflect your knowledge of this?
Unfortunately, Tess, I'm not aware of the funds from last year or the previous year.
Okay. Arthur, I don't think we've donated to PALS within the last 2 years that I can see. Can you recall one way or another?
I believe we have, Tess.
Do you know when that was approximately, Robin?
I know we voted on PALS last year. They were one of the first MPGs out, I think, last year.
Right around a year ago, I believe we did, last spring.
And do you remember how much that was, Robin?
No, I don't. And it, they might have asked for a certain amount and might have only gotten a certain amount.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure. And Colby, I just want to say that I support the PALS program, that they work hand in hand with LAPD. It's a wonderful program. I believe in supporting it. I just, the only thing I would say is, if we wanted to give maybe less than 5,000, but I do believe we should support them.
I think we're going to have to give much less than 5,000. Unfortunately, it's a very expensive year, and we still have some unknown expenses moving into our in-person meetings and other possible expenses related to that. So I don't feel confident certainly giving $5,000. Unfortunately, I wish we could though, but I think we should do something significant. Any more board member comments or questions? If not, I'm going to move on to stakeholders. And Joanne.
Hi, I have a question followed up by a comment. My question is, I am curious to see how much this board has given in the past, but I'm curious how much they receive from surrounding boards. Everyone's given the same slice of the pie, but are we being asked for more than others, or is it all kind of equal? And that being said, I'm going to have a very unpopular opinion here, but I don't really support this program. I think that, I want at-risk kids to have mentoring and scholarships and all those things, but I think it should be separate from the police. I know they're trying to get kids who are prevent them from, being juvenile delinquents or whatever, and stuff like that. But it's like you're being mentored by the people who are going to be potentially arresting you if like you screw up, type of thing. For me, I just have an issue with that. I'm just being honest. I'd rather see money for at-risk kids to go through a program where they're really geared towards helping them socially, mentally, and every different, much more of a social worker type of way, rather than from the police, who are more about, law and order and all these things. So I do have a problem with the Jeopardy and PALS in a sense. And I think the LAPD has a very huge budget, and I don't, so I don't see the need to ask, like I said, we have very limited funds for the community. And I think so at the very least, I'd say, please give a minimal, maybe like a contributory 500, 1,000 max, but 5,000 is ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Sean, and then Matt. And then we're going to.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm just going to say this from my own personal. When I was a kid many years ago, I actually participated a lot in PALS when the North Hollywood Police Station was off Lancashire, and I can tell you it was a great program. And while I do respect her opinion, I don't necessarily think that they're necessarily going to be a situation where the same people that are helping them are going to be the same people that are going to be arresting them. Because at the end of the day, the purpose of the program is to prevent that. So it's you're kind of creating a circular argument. So I just wanted to say that it did help. I wasn't like a troubled teen, but it was great being a part of something with the police. It really it helped me as a kid. And so I just wanted to put that in. Thank you.
And
Colby, Arthur, can you look back? I'm almost certain
it's on
it's last May.
Funding portal.
Yeah, last May it would have gone through.
I'll check it.
It was $5,000 last time, which we can't do this year that much. Any other comments from the board? Arthur, how about, how do we feel about, or the board?
Can we maybe do up to
$2,000?
Yeah.
I know it's a lot less than last year, which I believe we get $5,000. But $2,000, it's an election year, and we have a lot of other expenses coming up that we didn't have last year, and we're not getting any more money from the city. Arthur, do you feel confident that we could do 2,000 on this, because we still have that?
Yeah. I'm confident in 2,000.
Okay. Board members, how do you feel about 2,000? Just give me your thoughts.
I will say that I like this program very much. I like Sean's comments, and Joanne does point out something very important, which is the LAPD has a huge budget. So there is that to consider.
Any other comments from the board?
I actually really wanted Dan to be able to respond to what Joanne said, but he dropped off.
Let me see if he can. Well, you know what? No, we're not going to. Actually, we're not going to do comments from public against public.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Fred.
No, Dan.
Oh, hi, Dan.
Cool.
Sorry. Yes. I hear you, Dan.
If I can respond, I do agree with your board members, all of you. It is a hell of a year in regard to finances. And again, the PALS would be honored to take whatever funds we can as a grant from you people. We do receive other funds through our community research, trying to give into our funds. And back to what Sean, or what he grew up, I said, with the station over in Lancashire. Our police, we don't try to taint, when I say we, meaning them, they don't taint their minds with the LAPD. They're here to mentor them. Very, very few of the cadets and the Jeopardy kids go on to become cops. Would they want a lot of them to? That's up to them. But they're trying to guide them in regard to discipline, educate them through all avenues of our community. But by no means are they tainting them with the views of the LAPD. I've only been involved with PALS for 5.5 years, almost 6 years now. And I've never come across that. I'm very much involved with the community relations office down where they are housed, the Jeopardy kids. And I've never once seen them, again, I'll use the word taint them with the LAPD involvement, by no means.
And to that, I'll just say that it was a great experience. There was a lot of guidance, a lot of like mentoring, and again, it was something that I actually look back on fondly. So thanks, Dan. I appreciate your comment.
Right.
I see Fred or Barry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm done, sir. I'm done. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. And we're gonna do Fred. And then we have one comment from stakeholders from Catherine, and then we're gonna go on to amend this for $2,000 unless there's another thought.
Okay, my quick question is that if we lower this amount, will that solve our budget shortage?
Where we're gonna lower, I believe we're gonna lower the MPGs significantly as well.
Gonna lower all of them?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I anticipate that. Yes.
All right.
Is that your question? Okay, that's it. And Catherine and stakeholders. Let me talk. Oop, I lost you. Where'd you go? Here you are. Catherine.
Hi there. I just wanted to let everyone know about a really great resource, which is the City Clerk's Neighborhood Council Funding System Dashboard, where you can go and look up current and past fiscal years to see what has been spent by each neighborhood council. And you can go in and search for their payment requests and look up PALs to see what has gone to PALs. So for instance, this year, it looks like $2,000 has been approved over at NoHo West that's going to PALs. So just a great resource that you could
Thanks,
find.
Catherine. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, we're gonna amend this unless someone has a strong idea otherwise to read $2,000. Motion B, to approve a neighborhood purpose grant MPG of up to $2,000 to support East Valley PALS LAPD North Hollywood's Jeopardy program benefiting at-risk youth. We put it to a vote. Robin.
Yes.
I'm sorry, as amended.
I'm a yes.
Yes, Robin's a yes. Arthur.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Shannon's not
Yes.
here.
I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I missed you. Yes. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, I see you. You're a yes.
I am a yes.
Sorry about that. Ren.
Yes.
Fred.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Lee. Let me make sure you can be heard. Or Joanne, let me know if you have access to Lee.
I don't.
I don't see him. I don't see him on right now.
No, he's not
I
on.
heard his fire alarm go off the last time he was on, so I'm wondering if they're having some kind of incident over there.
Oh, I hope not.
I hope not, but
Okay,
I'll
well,
try to
let's
get in touch with them and find out.
let's
Okay,
make a
so-
note that Lee has left the meeting. We discovered this at 8:32 p.m., but it's probably earlier. Okay, moving on. Susanna's not here. Jonathan Gregory's not here. Tess Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. Kevin's ineligible this time. Sean.
Yes.
Jake is ineligible, and I am a yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yeses. I see. How about you, Lewis? You see that?
I saw 11. I thought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, no, never mind. 10. Sorry. It was an E.
No abstentions. 2 ineligibles. And 0 no's. And there's one, and Lee's absent for this vote. And so is Jonathan and Susanna. Okay, motion passes at $2,000. Thank you, Dan.
Board, thank you very much, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you,
doing a great
sir.
job over there. Keep up the good work. Let me see if there's a representative from Toluca Lake Elementary on. If you're from Toluca Lake Elementary, you have 2 MPGs in the queue, and please raise your hand. I might not recognize you on the attendees
I
list.
don't see anyone.
I sent an email to them earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Therefore, we will move forward to, I'll come back to them later. Let me discuss in-person meetings. It's a good time to do that because the rest of it is concerning in-person meetings and things like that. So starting, as you heard earlier, oh, I see someone's hand raised. Joanne, is this about Lee? Joanne?
Yes, it is about Lee. He's having issues with his phone. It died. He said, so I think maybe, so I told him to charge it and try again in like maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
He thinks his phone died on him because, it zaps the battery pretty good.
Sure, certainly. Thanks, Joanne, for the update.
Yep, I'll let you know. Thanks.
In-person meetings, discussion update. As you know, after this month, starting April 1st, we're required to do in-person meetings, or an in-person meetings is the standard default mode of meetings from that point on. There's also the option to do a hybrid meeting model. A hybrid meeting model would still require a quorum of board members to meet in person. And we're moving forward to meeting at Toluca Lake Elementary for all meetings, including committee meetings. So if we, in the future, if the board were to investigate and want to do a hybrid board meeting model, it's fairly complicated, but I'll go over some of the details right now. So again, we're on track, which is to do the standard in-person meeting model that we were doing for many, many years before the pandemic. And if the board chooses to do so, in the future, it could switch over to hybrid. And hybrid, aka teleconferencing, as I said before, still requires a quorum of in-person board members to meet in person. Now, if a hybrid model is selected, a Zoom, like what we're doing now, a Zoom option or a Zoom access would be required of the board to provide the public. And actually, when I say Zoom, I mean teleconferencing. So it's not required to be Zoom. It can be another sort of similar teleconferencing, video teleconferencing. Actually, not video it's teleconferencing for the public to access the board meetings. So, and that's only if a hybrid option is chosen by our board. Now, there's a fairly high bar for board members to participate via teleconferencing. I'm going to say the word Zoom, which is just easier to say, but for the sake of this conversation, when I say Zoom, I mean teleconferencing after April 1st. And so, for instance, if this board or any NC chose the hybrid option, therefore, then from that point on until it's changed, a board member the only way board members are allowed to teleconference into a meeting is if that board member has just cause or emergency circumstances. And just bear with me, I have this, I took all these screenshots from this meeting I attended earlier this month. And so if, for instance, if we were moving to a hybrid model, and let's say a board member, let's say Sean, said, hey, I broke my leg, or I have some huge emergency, that board member would have to first contact me and share what that, share the information that board member would not be able to attend an in-person meeting that time, and that would be an emergency circumstance. And there can only be for our board, there would only be 2 emergency emergencies allowed per year. It's basically about 20% of the 30% of entire meetings or fewer. And because we meet 10 times per year, our formula worked out to a board member can only miss 2 meetings per year in person. And that board member, who would have, it's just very, very confusing, but essentially the emergency situation or just cause situation, in order for a board member to Zoom into a meeting, could only be used twice per year in our board, because we meet 10 times per year, 20%. And then if the board member who is Zooming in, that board member would have to keep their camera on the entire time and keep their audio on the entire time. That board member would also have to announce who is in the room with him or her during the board meeting if that person is 18 years old or older. And if the video signal or audio signal was interrupted at any time, that there'd have to be a note made, and that board member would then be deemed to have left the meeting during that time at which there was no audio or video signal coming from that board member's Zoom account or teleconferencing account. So essentially, if you are in an emergency situation, and we have gone into a hybrid model, or voted elected to select a hybrid meeting model, and if you find yourself in an emergency situation, you would first have to contact the board, me or the president, who the president is at that time, to alert the board of the emergency situation. You would then would have to again sign on through say Zoom or the teleconferencing option that has been chosen. Announce who is in the room with you at the time of the meeting if they're over 18, and you would have to stay on the meeting entirely through audio and visual means and audio means. So you have to be seen and heard. No turn the camera off. Let me see. What else is there? Yeah, and you can only do that twice per year. And I think that's the lowdown, quick lowdown on the hybrid model that we have not selected yet, because it takes some discussion. Secondly, regarding the hybrid model, we would have to have, if we select hybrid model, and even if we don't use a hybrid model, for instance, if we voted at our next meeting to say we want to do hybrid, we would be required to allow the public to access the hybrid model, even if no board members needed to use the hybrid model. For instance, most meetings we won't have an emergency. A board member won't, thank God, won't have an emergency. But even if there's no board member that has an emergency, and every board member can participate at the in-person meeting place, the board still has to offer, because of the Brown Act, the teleconferencing or phone-in option for stakeholders to contact the board and engage with the board. Even if and that requires equipment, that requires somebody to attend to the Zoom portion of the meeting, which is the entire meeting, and that requires a camera and other equipment. And I do not advise that whoever is in charge of running, if this is chosen, whoever's in charge of running the Zoom portion of the meeting, meaning the hybrid model, I do not think that person should be a board member, because that person will be too distracted running the Zoom, essentially. So I would think that I would, I would not be in favor of whoever is running the Zoom and monitoring the public or monitoring the stakeholders' interaction with the board. I don't think that they should be, again, they should be a board member, because it's too distracting and it'll keep that board member from really focusing on the matters at hand. So that's it right now, but I'd like questions. I see Ren has his hand raised.
Yeah, my first question is there any kind of estimate at this point of what this is going to cost? I mean, there's
no, I just wanted to discuss this and see what kind of interest there was, and if there is strong interest, I was going to suggest that an ad hoc committee be formed by those who have interest in exploring and possibly implementing a hybrid meeting model, and that ad hoc committee could then present the board an estimate or actually hard numbers on the costs of the equipment and the logistics of performing a hybrid meeting model, of course, and the expenses associated with that.
Okay, I'm just concerned about not only the cost, but frankly, the kind of disruption of a live meeting when every time, there's a question or some kind of discussion, you have to stop the live meeting in order for somebody on the I don't know whether it would be like a TV screen or a bigger screen or whatever, you'd have to hear from that person. It's distracting, and I have a problem with it, but I really need to see the numbers. Thank you.
Sure. Let's just, yeah. Hi, Tess.
Hi, Colby. Yeah, Brian, I agree. We need to see the numbers. And Colby, do you have any sense of how the proposed changes to the Portantino Senate Bill 411 would correspond with this that Glenn Bailey
No,
mentioned
I
to us?
learned that 4-1 this evening.
Okay.
And I don't know. I'm not sure how that would affect. Again, and that's just, we might not even be in this administration if that 401 were implemented, because it's only about 3 months out.
Okay, yeah, well, because then it will be important, I think, to follow that bill and how those, if any, changes shake out that correspond with everything you've just shared with us.
Yes. Erica has probably more information.
Thanks,
Hi,
Colby.
Erica.
Yeah, so in regards to SB 411, our department is tracking that bill. The last update I received was that it was still in committee. We can expect it to get passed as soon as hopefully June or July, but it could be as late as September. So when we're speaking about this bill, it's really in, the far future or possibly near future. It's just hard to pinpoint what exactly is going to happen within these upcoming months. But I did want to share that. To Ren's concern in regards to numbers, I will share it, and I'm looking for this this specific council file that our department issued a report on, all relating to teleconferencing, hybrid meetings, the possible different type of models that NCs could have moving forward. So I'm going to get that council file. I'm going to share that council file with you all as soon as I find it. But the reason why I'm sharing this is because in that report that our department issued on page 47, there's a hyperlink on there, which our department provided a draft estimate of what type of equipment we anticipate NC's needing. And so in that, I believe also provided, links to those pieces of equipment as well as estimates. So that could be a starting point if Greater Toluca Lake or any other NC is interested in trying to figure out these costs. But of course, that's just a starting point.
Right, and I believe that just like we have a social media manager whom we pay, and she does, I think, a very good job of keeping us on track with social media. This board or in the future might want to hire somebody to perform those duties at the meetings, so so that person isn't a board member. But again, that would be up to the future.
And in Chloe, I'm sorry, I was able to find the council file. So the report that our department submitted was in response to council file 22-1070.
Thank you, Erica. Any other hands from the board? Any questions? It's a pretty big thing. I expect a lot of questions if you have them. It's very confusing. Let me know if you want me to repeat something or go over more details if I know them, or Erica is very well versed in this as well. It's a good time to ask if you have questions. Now we'll go into stakeholders.
So,
hi, Tess.
Quick question, Colby. So are our April committee meetings going to happen still via Zoom or in person?
That's a great question. That's something I'm glad Erica's on now, and that's
okay.
Something I can discuss now. That's a different motion. That's a motion that we're going to vote on. So
Okay.
what I need to do, let me go on to Joanne, okay? And I
Okay.
don't want to get off track because this is something I'm going to discuss on the motion.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
just
want-
I want to say I am very pleased to see how positive Colby and Robin are in wanting to get us back to in person. I appreciate that because I know there's a lot of the NCs are, you know, they're risking losing a lot of their people. No one wants to go back. There's a lot of upset going on right now. So I do want to say I appreciate the both of you for, you know, for that positive leadership to get us back to normal. That being said, I do love the idea of hybrid for the stakeholders. Like I'm a big believer in access to local government. And so I would love to see that, but I don't think it should come out of the pockets of the neighborhood councils. We're given a, you know, in my opinion, a very small piece of pie for what the city brings in. And I think the city should say, you know, okay, if you want this hybrid, we'll pay for the equipment because you'll be able to use that equipment going forward, you know, and the city should compensate for that. It should not come out of the NC budget. And, you know, and that's what I think that we should, people or the NC to be advocating for, you know, give us a little extra money to compensate, to get this equipment so we can have the best outcome. Because there's a lot of people yet who may not be ready to go back in person. And so it gives it a broader scale, but financially helping these NCs out because they're not given enough money. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. I know going forward, our expenses now will be higher than they've ever been. Because of the rental of our meeting place with LAUSD.
I have a question.
And also we need just to put this on record, we also need if a hybrid model were chosen, a Zoom license would be required, and a Zoom license would be at the expense of the neighborhood council. Hi, Sean.
Yeah, I'm assuming that if we opt not to do a hybrid model and we just opt to do the meetings going forward in person, we no longer have to carry the expense for Zoom meetings, or will we have to maintain that no matter what?
No expense for Zoom. It's just like it was before, except we do have the set costs of in-person meeting places, which we'll have no matter what.
Yeah,
so there's no way of escaping the costs of in-person meeting unless somebody wanted to open up. If somebody had, you know, an ADA accessible office building and they gave it to us for free for no rent, that would be a way to escape those costs. But again, whoever would do that would have to sign a lease with the city. So it's not just out of the goodness of your heart, oh, come and use my property. Whoever would do that would have to sign a binding lease, and it's very hard to find. And I went to 3 different property owners, and nobody would do that. So that's why I ultimately moved forward with a publicly owned property and a city-owned property. It was much, it was expensive. It was actually the path of least resistance, and I felt it was the best model for us.
I have one more question. If that's the case, is the LAUSD, is it just a flat fee of $38 an hour? Or is that something that like Toluca Lake has versus, let's say, Rio Vista, which is another school that's in our...
We talked to we actually, Robin and I met with Rio Vista. I
Okay.
also met with LAPD for North Hollywood. I met with the fire station, a lot of places. And Rio Vista was very, very nice and accommodating as much as they could be. Their schedules were, their plant manager wasn't as available to us to let us in the doors as was Toluca Lake Elementary. And so that seemed like a better fit because they had more flexibility with a plant manager to open up and close up the doors.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Any other questions? Okay, that's just a discussion. There's going to be some votes later on tonight, and we can revisit some of these questions because they're similar to what we're discussing at this moment. Let's see. That's so. See, Pal's done. Okay, so let's move on to. We'll give.
Colby, can I please suggest that we're coming up on hour 2? If this goes into a 3rd hour, that we need to take a break of some kind, or maybe you just call off the meeting at some point.
We can't call it off. There's too much important stuff to do.
Okay, I'm just keeping you aware of the time.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move forward. I think we'll skip ahead now. I think things will move faster now. Let's do. Yeah. Let's actually, since we're on this topic, let's do motion E. Approve up to $523 $1,000,000.84 to LAUSD for the use of Toluca Lake Elementary School as a Greater Toluca Lake Neighborhood Council's 2023 election polling place. First on this one,
Sean.
Sean. A second,
Robin.
Robin. Thank you, Robin. Yes, I heard Robin. Okay, so just like before, LAUSD is going to charge us for the use of the auditorium for the elections coming up. Now, I did, and this is, if you see, there's an email I included, and Lewis included, who was so nice to put this packet together, from our representative at the city regarding the election. And as you can, I don't know if you guys read the email. Initially, when we chose the elementary school, there was going to be no charge, but then, as you see in the last paragraph of the email, LAUSD did not honor that price, and instead wants to charge us actually $673.84. However, the city has a $150 payment built in for our election, so they'll kick in $150. That brings our price, our costs for the school for a polling place at $523.84. Now, I did meet with Mark Stevenson the other day at the church on Cahuenga, and he said that he would do it for at cost or no cost, essentially. He would do it for about $150, which would be covered by the city. So on the face of it, it looks like we could probably do it at the church on the face of it for free. However, doing so at the church would require an ADA inspection and maybe a lot more paperwork that could get us snagged. The school is a much cleaner, easier place to hold the election at $523. I don't think we're going to hit any red tape or ADA compliance issues. However, if we try for the church on Cahuenga, if everything works out, I believe we could do the election for free. So I'm boiling that down for you right now. However, we could hit, if we don't vote on this tonight or we don't select the school and something happens with the church, whereas it doesn't meet the ADA compliance, I think it would, but if there's some snag with the city, it could delay things. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Colby, just for clarification, in this memo, March 14th, in our packet, the polling place email, it says the bad news is that Harmony Toluca Lake is no longer available. Is that referring to the church, Mark Stevenson's church, or not?
It is, and I did talk to. I was over at the church the other day, getting stuff out of storage for us.
So then this is incorrect. What this says.
Well, it could be. Yes, but I did bring this up to Mark, and he thought it would be available. Again, I haven't fully followed up with this because it's brand new information. Because I met with Mark 2 days ago on Sunday. So what I'm saying to you is the school is a sure thing, and the church is not. So the sure thing is $523.84. The free thing is not as solid at this time. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying to you is if we vote on this, we'll have a polling place locked down. The polling place is a place that all stakeholders are familiar with because they vote there for other elections, ADA compliant, and I don't anticipate red tape being an issue.
I would go with Toluca Lake Elementary under the circumstances.
Okay, that's sort of my feeling, but I wanted to tell the board everything. Hi, Red.
Yeah, could we amend the motion to approve this amount unless we find a less expensive place? I mean, so we give ourselves an option for Harmony. So we approve this amount in case we have to resort to the school. But if we can find a better place, a freer place that's, qualifies, then we would use that. I hate to see us spend $500. We don't have to.
That sounds like a good idea. Eric, are you here? That sounds possible, doesn't it? To amend the motion in that way?
That's correct. Yes, we could amend the motion so that we have that flexibility. So yes.
Okay, let's do that. I like that idea. unless a
Okay, so
less
I move
expensive
that we
location
amend the motion
is required.
to put in, let's see,
So I'd say
dollar amount or,
unless expensive location is acquired.
It's secured,
that's
yeah.
good. Yeah, perfect. That's straightforward. Yeah, good.
Secured. Okay. Okay, that sounds like a good idea. Let's just move forward with that. I don't see any hands raised. We have a lot of other things to vote on tonight, and that seems like a nice way to do this.
Well, I think we need to vote on the amendment first, Colby.
Well, I know. I'm going to put it to a vote.
All right, great.
Motion to approve up to $523.84 to LAUSD for use of Toluca Lake Elementary School as the Greater Toluca Lake Neighborhood Council's 2023 election polling place, unless a less expensive location is secured, as amended.
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
Ren,
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Lee. You back on, Lee? Okay, we'll try Lee again in a second.
No, I don't see Lee.
Okay. All right. Susanna's not here. Jonathan's not here. Tess,
Yes, and I would suggest we insert the date of the election, FYI.
okay. Hold on. Kevin, this is ineligible tonight. Sean?
Yes.
Jake, ineligible. And I'm a yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeses. Is that what you have, Lewis?
Yes.
All right.
10.
I have 2 ineligible and 3 absences.
Okay. Passes.
Okay. Good. That's passes. Now let's go to motion G. I'm skipping around a little bit. Motion G, approve rental. This is actually going to change a little bit, but let me read the original motion. Motion G, approve rental fee of $38 per hour plus $5 per rental day supply fee to LAUSD for the use of Toluca Lake Elementary School for the Greater Toluca Lake Neighborhood Council's general board meetings from April 2023 through June 2023. First.
Robin.
Thanks, Robin. Second.
Is anybody else out there or am I?
Shannon.
Thank you. People are sleeping.
I know. I don't know what to do. We have a lot of business to do. This is a big meeting. Just a lot of stuff I have to get done. We have to get done. Okay. So since I wrote this motion, I was told by LAUSD that this is the price, $38 per hour, plus this $5 supply fee to handle toilet paper and things like that we and our stakeholders would use up at the school for the meetings. Afterwards, essentially I got, if you saw this in the price sheet, it's in the agenda packet you were sent and that was posted. If you look at that, you'll see the dates for our general board meetings coming up. You'll see 3 hours per meeting, plus the $5 supply fee at $15 total, 3 times 5, and the hourly rate of $38. And what that does is that brings the cost, the rental, the fees for hosting our meetings at Toluca Lake Elementary for April, May, and June to a total of $447 paid to LAUSD. So, Erica, you on the call? Yeah. So, Erica, can I change this motion to $447? It all adds up. The $38 per hour plus $5 adds up. But the way they did it, the way LAUSD, the agent over there did it, Nancy, she just combined everything into one $447 fee. So can I change? I was going to go ahead and change the motion to that. I guess I don't think Erica's on.
You're saying that it adds up to the same amount. It's the
same thing. It's the same amount. Yeah. Well, what they did was just I didn't know when I wrote the motion. I didn't know how it worked. For instance, she's putting us at 3 hours per meeting you know, and I didn't know if it was like we walk in and they charge us by the hour and it's like a la carte. If we have a meeting that's 1 hour, they only charge us $38. Meeting that runs 4 hours, they charge us 38 times 4. But what she's doing, she's just saying it's 3 hours per meeting, and you're going to pay that no matter what. So it's a fixed price here, and in the motion I wrote, it was more flexible. So I'm going to go ahead and just change it, right, to amend it to $447 flat rate for the 3 meetings. Is that okay?
Yes, if it, again, if it equals out to the same amount, then that's fine.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion on this? I don't see any hands raised. So I'm going to change this approved rental fee of, I'm going to say rental and supply fee of $447 to LAUSD as amended. So I'm going to read the motion again as amended. Motion G, approve rental fee and supply fee of $447 to LAUSD for the use of Topeka Lake Elementary School for the Greater Topeka Lake Neighborhood Council's General Board meetings from April 2023 through June 2023. Robin.
Yes.
Arthur.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Shannon.
Yes.
Ren.
Yes.
Fred.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Lee.
Still not on.
Still not on. Okay. He's absent now.
Yes.
Susanna's absent now. Jonathan's absent. Excused. Tess.
Yes.
Kevin is ineligible. Sean.
Yes.
And Jake's ineligible. And I'm a yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yeses like before.
Yep.
2 ineligibles. No nos. Motion passes. Thank you. That's good. Now let's go back to discuss committee meetings, a whole different thing. Motion F, approve Topeka Lake Elementary School as in-person meeting place for the Greater Topeka Lake Neighborhood Council's committee meetings. First on this one.
Sean.
Lewis. Sean.
Sean first.
Beaches.
And Lewis. All right, discussion. Raise your hand. I see attendees. Let me go back. Actually, let me go back to the board first, then I'll go to the attendees. Okay, Ren. Okay, Ren. You're muted. Hold on.
Sorry. Is there a cost for this? Is it?
There is. There is a cost. We won't know. There is a cost. So in order for me to proceed with the application, like there's I have to take, like we did this a few meetings ago for the, I have to have the board's approval to approve the elementary school as an in-person meeting place. I then alert or inform the county clerk, city clerk, and LEOSD that this board approved it. They come back to me. Eventually, they come back to me with one of these, a price sheet for the use of the committee meetings spaces. Now we're going to have 3 classrooms twice a week, and it's sort of a, you know, so that's how it's going to work. The first week, like we do now, we're going to have 3. Robin, correct me if I'm wrong. The first.
Okay,
first week of the
so
month,
you have 3 classrooms available 2 nights. Is that correct, Colby? So
no, it's the opposite. It's 2 classrooms available
for 3 nights?
For 5 nights. Yeah, for 5 meetings a month.
Okay,
And-
so wait, you have to clarify. The school is only opening up to us 2 nights, and we have 5 classrooms.
No, it's hold on. it is,
Because we're gonna have to double up on our meetings, like
yes,
2 classrooms.
we have 5 meetings per month. Here, here's my calendar. Hold on. We have 2 rooms for the first week and 2 rooms for the second week. And the meetings will take place on Tuesdays. So this is the way it has to work. The first Tuesday of each month, we'll have 2 rooms. And the second Tuesday of each month, we'll have 2 rooms. And out of those 2 rooms, and we have those rooms from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. because at 8, so they can't bring us in any earlier than 6:30, and they want us out of there by 8 o'clock. So it's sort of like it's sort of a
So basically, like exec and public safety will be in one room. So maybe exec will go for 45 minutes and public safety will go for 45 in
well,
one
actually we have 2 rooms simultaneously. So we
Okay.
can run 2 meetings at the same time.
But we have 5 meetings.
Right. So
You have to double up on one of them.
one of them's going to get a little shortchanged, and that's just, there's no other way to do this right now. So, for instance, on Tuesday night, we have 2 classrooms reserved, and that night we can either do 2 meetings or 3. And then the following Tuesday will be the same thing. We'll have 2 rooms reserved for us, and we can do 2 meetings that night or 3. I noticed that outreach and elections seems to be the shortest meetings, and I would suggest having that meeting.
Maybe that one and exec.
Yeah, exec sometimes isn't that long either. Plum seems very long, and public safety seems relatively long.
And so
essentially, we can run 2 meetings simultaneously on either night, on both nights. I saw. I'm gonna go to Ren.
Can we amend this one where we did the last one and throw Harmony Church in as the second option?
Well, okay, Harmony. Okay, 4 meetings. It requires ADA. It requires a lease with the church. And when I mentioned this to Mark, it's very, very difficult to get anyone to sign a lease with the city.
Yeah, enough said.
We're not going to make it. We're not going to make
Okay.
it because it takes about 60 to 90 days for the paperwork to clear just for the lease. We're not going to make it. I see Catherine. I know you have good experience in this, right, Catherine?
Hi, I wanted to support, I think it was Robin's suggestion that outreach and elections be paired with exec because those do tend to be the shortest of the meetings. So that was a great idea, Robin. I also want to recommend reviewing the committee membership just to sort of see if anything needs to move around to different times of the month, given that if there are 2 simultaneous meetings, someone could only attend one of them. So if someone is on both public safety and planning and land use, you wouldn't want them on the same night.
Absolutely, that was the hardest part of doing this. At first, we were offered one night or 1 room per night. I was able to get it doubled, but so it's possible, but it's still going to take some juggling.
Yeah,
yeah, it's not perfect, but I think it's doable. We have 2 because we have 2 classrooms, and we will be charged for these classrooms. I believe the fee will be less per hour, but I won't know the fee until I move forward with the paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork that goes back and forth, this is the first part or the second part of the paperwork is getting this board to approve this, and then I go back and I get the prices. But it'll be less money per hour. However, we're running more rooms, so our committee meetings will be more expensive to facilitate than our general board meeting, just because we're having multiple classrooms and 5 meetings per month. Tests.
Hi, Colby. Is the Compass office usage out because of the city lease situation?
Yes, I've spoken to Craig Strong. He said he was
That's awful. That was a perfect meeting spot.
Oh, I know. And it was like I talked to Compass. And I spoke to 2 other building representatives, my own office here, and also the sushi restaurant, not Kabasu. I forgot the name of it. There's a beautiful Spanish building adjacent to Compass.
Cabosa.
Yeah, not Kabasu. It's not. It's anyway. Here's the hard part: is a lot of these buildings are owned by multiple people. Like my building here that I'm in right now is owned by 6 people, and getting them to, first of all, to voluntarily tie up their property in some city lease for free, no benefit of them is not an easy task. And because they would even have to hire attorneys, I'm sure, to look over the lease, and they'd be out of pocket money, and there's no incentive for them. And I really can see why they wouldn't do it. Doesn't make sense. Sean?
Well, I was going to kind of go towards the idea that with respect to the NPGs, if we're struggling to make ends meet right now, because we don't know what the total cost is going to be, maybe we could kind of reel back the NPGs for now, just so that we're not worried about cost, because cost is also something that's playing in effect. I mean, I want to give the money out that we can, but let's focus on this because, like you said, there's a lot of unknowns right now. That was just
the
it.
only real unknown, there's 2 unknowns, and one unknown is the cost of the committee spaces, the meeting places. But, and I ran the numbers. If I even said worst case scenario, it's $38 per hour for us to rent the auditorium at the school. And I talked to they basically have a real estate agent. Her name is Nancy over at LAOSD. She's a real estate agent who essentially evaluates and comes up with the cost of these facilities. And when we spoke on the phone, she indicated that the classrooms would be less expensive than the auditorium. However, we have a lot more time in the classrooms. So if I just take the worst case scenario, the same price as the auditorium, $38 per hour, times, let's see, we're going to have 2 classrooms, so times 2 for $38 times 2 times, let's say, $830. It'll probably charge us the full 2 hour times 2. So I look at $152 per times 2. Looks like $304 per month for committee meetings. If you look at 2 classrooms at $38 an hour times 2 hours times twice a month. So it's not that bad, but that is per month, and that's going to add up, over, and you actually multiply that times 10 months. That's $3,040 approximately, and that's out the the $5, I'll call it toilet paper fee. So our committee meetings running forward could cost around $3,000 a year, just to let you know.
And what if we accidentally run over? I mean, do we get prorated? If we run over 10 minutes, do we run over 15 minutes?
Oh, no, it's not like that. What's going to happen is Nancy over at LAOSD will send us a sheet like this. And it'll say this is what, because I have to send this to the clerk, the city clerk, and they'll approve this expense going forward. And that's that expense. So there's no one there with a stopwatch. But let's see, Robin.
Okay, so I understand that the committee meetings are from 6:30 to 8, and they will not be standing there with a stopwatch. My understanding is they will just come by because the janitor has to go home. He's there to lock up. My question is, our general board meeting, is there a time frame for that as well? Because we're now on a 3rd hour. And I'm just wondering, these meetings go long because we've been on Zoom and we can. But if we're sitting in an auditorium where there's a janitor waiting to lock up, is there a time frame for that?
No, it's 3 hours. That's what they're giving us.
Okay.
So when I fill out the application, they ask approximately how long would each meeting be, and I put in 3 hours when I fill out the application with LAOSD.
Okay.
And you have, the way the application is, if I put in 4 hours, we'd be paying for 4 hours every meeting. So I wanted to give us some buffer, but I can't say they don't bill us in arrears. They bill us going forward.
Sure. And these meetings used to run approximately an hour and a half. I don't know how they've gotten to be so long.
So I gave us 3 hours I thought that was an adequate amount of time, and we can't go over that because the janitor needs to go home.
Right.
And that's the way it is. Fred.
So I just want to make sure I'm getting this right. We have 5 meetings a month, but the school's only giving us 2 days a month, 2 Tuesdays. And on each Tuesday, we get 2 classrooms each. Couldn't we get 3 classrooms each?
I actually asked for 5, and he is no way. And then he said, I'll give you 1. And then I begged for 3, and he gave me 2.
And can we not get an extra day in the month?
This is
very costly to do this. It's
well,
difficult.
no, it's the cost, but I wasn't really factoring the cost. Jeff has been very helpful. If it wasn't for the principal of Jeff Daniel, I would be worried about the future of our neighborhood council. They didn't have any meeting place. So no, this is, it's like asking someone to stay in your house, and he's not obligated to facilitate us at all. So I asked for 5. He said we can do 1 day. I said, can we do 3? He said I can give you 2.
And we're very lucky.
I'm asking him for the favor. Now, now we help each other out. There are some, obviously we do contribute to the school. We did last year. We did the mural.
Okay.
And there are some MPGs on here.
Okay, so that answers my question. 2 more quick things. So that means 2 of the committees will just have like 45-minute meetings.
Yes.
And next question, for the PUM meeting, as you know, it's very long, and we need 2 hours. And if we're paying for 2 hours, can we start at 6 o'clock instead of 6:30?
He said no, because the kids are getting the last of the kids are leaving school. They're leaving school at 6, and they want a buffer of a half hour to clear the kids out. Sometimes the kids stay a little longer. The parents are a little late picking them up. They want a half hour buffer until we come in.
I see.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Ren?
Yeah, this of course presumes that the next council elected in June will have 5 committees. They might want to have more committees or fewer. They might feel constrained to just create 4 committees and put all the different responsibilities into one committee or another. So it could work. I think it'd be an organizational issue for the new board.
Here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen.
Worry about that.
This ends. So the contracts are for 6 months, and we're doing a contract with LEOSD for 6 months. That's why these 3 dates, April, May, and June are listed here. And after June, the new board is going to have to reapply, or actually, I'll probably end up reapplying for the new board, so they have a place to go. And then it's essentially a 6-month agreement with LEOSD. So you're not locked in forever, but and maybe it could be less. Maybe we could do a 3-month agreement with them, and something like that. I'm not
Erica
sure.
has her hands up. Maybe she has something to contribute.
Hi, Erica.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that some of you may have seen that I sent an email, I want to say sometime between like a month to a month and a half ago. And this was speaking to doing a second round of ADA evaluations. If you all recall, when we started doing the ADA evaluations, we had asked each NC to choose one location of where they were thinking of holding their in-person meetings. Going through this process, our department did recognize that some of the NCs whose general board meets in one location, their committees did not meet. We also understood going through the process that some locations limited NCs for only having a certain amount of meetings, as you all are experiencing now. So just wanted to remind you all that because our department is allowing for a second round of ADA evaluations, they have not given us the timeline as to when that would start. But given that if you all do proceed with the 6-month lease, it could be very well at the end of that agreement or lease that our department will be ready or would have already been in the works of doing these second rounds of ADA evaluations. So as you're talking about this, please keep in mind of any other possible locations that your committee or general board would like to meet. So that way we can start preparing that paperwork. And so by the time we're ready to do these evaluations, everything's already set.
Now, Erica, just to comment on the ADA evaluations, I was told that because this is a school and because we already did an ADA evaluation on the auditorium, and the auditorium is a certain number of feet from the classrooms, that we don't have to do an ADA evaluation on the school, which is wonderful. And that was another reason for committee meetings. And that was another reason I was leaning towards the school.
That is correct. We were kind of able to double dip because we already had the ADA evaluation for this location.
Yeah, and just let you know, if anyone comes up with another location, if it's a privately owned location, that owner, not the leaseholder, the owner of the property, has to sign a lease with the city, and that lease will take about 60 days for, and that's just for the city attorney to evaluate, to look at that lease. And that doesn't mean 60 days is the entire time frame of the process. That's just for the city attorney's portion of the process. There's ADA would be required, an ADA inspection would be required for a privately owned place, space. So it might be 90 days or more. Tess.
Hi, Colby. So as you've alluded to, this is really adding up. So I'm sort of running the numbers here, and the money for 3 board meetings, which we've just approved, the $447, and using that number, prorated times 10 would be, that's another $1,043. The polling place, which we've approved, the committee meetings, which you've estimated would be about $3,000. Is that 6 months or a year? I think you said
That'd be for a year, because I'm estimating at $304 a month. But that's the top.
Yeah, we're looking at, in addition to the, the other 2 NPGs we've yet to discuss and discuss over $10,000 just to Toluca Lake Elementary School for all of these elements. And I would say that certainly the polling place is key. We've already voted for that anyway. The meeting location, I'm a little annoyed that they're charging us like this, but I understand it. So with all of the things on the table right now, we're at almost a third of our annual budget.
I know it's terrible.
So just letting people know.
Thank you, Tess, for highlighting that fact. Again, our running costs are going to be much higher, and our budget's much smaller than it was just a couple years ago, unfortunately.
It looks like Glenn.
So I do say I do want to move forward if we can with this motion. This is just so I can, if we vote yes, this is so I can move forward with the committee places. We don't have any other good options right now.
I want to point out that Glenn Bailey has his hand up, and he's had it up for a little
let's
while.
try to make this quick. We have a bunch of other stuff to do. We're done with the board, right? So no other comments from the board. Glenn, can you make this quick? Keep it 2 minutes for public comment. Glenn?
Thanks. First of all, the city clerk is having their workshops this cycle, is on contracts and leases. They do it twice a month. I attended the last one. It was very enlightening in terms of some of the options that are available. I realize you have to move forward tonight for what you have to do, but there was some instances where none of this was required for ADA. If there was no form to be signed, et cetera. I won't go into the details, but if someone didn't attend and ask those questions, I'd recommend doing that with the city clerk, because they're the ones who are making this such a difficult process, in my opinion. Secondly, another neighborhood council meets at a school, LAUSD school, and they were having difficulty, and they contacted their school board member. It's not yours, it was Scott Schmerlson, and the matter was resolved within, I think, 2 days. I'm not saying going over the head of the particular school, but if you have multiple schools, maybe they can help. I'm just putting that in mind. And apparently the change that the school board member was able to make is helping a lot of the neighborhood councils in his district. So I just wanted to mention that. Thanks.
Thank you. We actually don't have, it's not a problem with the school. It's just actually that the principal is very much on our side. The principal, it's not the principal's decision. The principal, Jeff Daniel, did not want to charge us money. This money doesn't go to the school. It goes to LAUSD, totally separate. So we're going to move forward with this motion. Motion F, approve the Toluca Lake Elementary School as the in-person meeting place for the Greater Toluca Neighborhood Council's committee meetings. Robin.
Yes.
Arthur.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Thank you. Shannon. Okay, I don't hear you.
I'm sorry, I'm here. Yes.
Okay, Shannon, yep, okay. Oh, sorry, I missed you. Ren?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Matt, yes. Lee, Joanne, let's see. Joanne, are you speaking for Lee?
No, he's actually on. He was on and he wanted to speak on this matter. So
Okay.
can you unmute him? Because he is
I
back
gotta find
on.
him. Hold on. Oh, here he is.
And I would like to speak too, if it's possible, as a
We're
stakeholder.
past public comment. We're past public comment on this.
I had my hand up.
I'm sorry, I missed. I'm sorry.
That's
Lee,
okay.
I'm doing my best.
It's okay.
Lee, please unmute yourself.
He can't unmute himself. He can't see it.
Well, I don't know what to do now.
How about now? Do you read me?
Yeah, I hear you.
You read me? Oh, good. I vote no, and I'll tell you why. A classroom, the seats are so small, it's not going to accommodate it all. It's not going to be enough room for the neighborhood of the annual or monthly meeting. That ain't going to work. The desks are way too small. That's ridiculous.
Okay, no for Lee. Okay,
Correct.
Going back down. Susanna's in here. Okay, and actually, you know what, Joanne, we'll take you. Joanne, you want to say something public? Go ahead.
That's okay.
I did miss your hand. I feel bad. I did miss your hand. Go ahead. Say what you want to say.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, is there any way, because they should not be, they're charging more, but you're getting less. And I think it's going to be a shame to rush all these committee meetings. It's a time for the community to come out and speak and have things done. And so can Dunn or the mayor's office or somebody try to work with LAUSD to say, hey, we're coming out of a pandemic. Can they show a little mercy or a break or something and have other agencies kind of work together to try to get a better deal for all of the neighborhood councils? Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. Tess.
Yes.
Jonathan's excused. Kevin. Kevin. Yeah, actually, we can. This is not a financial matter at this point.
Yes.
Yes. Sean.
Yes.
Jake.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm a yes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 12 yeses. So you have, hold on.
12 yeses, 1 no.
Great. 1 no.
Motion
Thank
passes.
you. Motion passes. Very good. All right. Now I will say, Erica, if you're on, maybe we have a little catch-22. We're going to have a vote for the approval of the expenses for the committee meeting place or classrooms at the school. I guess I'll have to do an emergency meeting before this Brown Act changes on the 31st to get that passed, right, Erica? Because if we don't vote, because I wasn't able to vote on this tonight because I'm told that this is the order in which I have to proceed. But Erica, is that correct? Essentially?
Yes, that's right. If we have to vote on a dollar amount to approve the location for our committee meetings, then yes, we would have to call a special meeting unless it was decided that for this upcoming month, our committees did not meet. But yes,
But here's a catch-22 though. If we don't, I'm sorry everyone's taking so long, but this is complicated. If we don't get a vote in for that expense, we can't do it. See, I can't meet in person for the committees because we won't have that approved to meet in person. We won't have in order for us to meet as a committee and to vote on something, or we have to wait until, actually we have to wait until we meet in person if it comes after the 31st. Because it's impossible to meet over Zoom after the 31st. Right, Erica?
Right. It sounds like we would have to call a special meeting before March 30th, which is the date that we're expected to start meeting in person.
And if I don't have that dollar amount, I don't know what we're going to do from LAUSD. Like I need, like for instance, I need one of these invoices, like we voted on tonight. Unless is it possible, Erica, to do something tonight where we say we will spend up to X amount of money for this meeting place, for the committee meeting places? at this time?
There's currently not an agenda item, right? For this?
Okay, so we'll have to call a special meeting.
Right, yeah, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to add an agenda item, or even if we had an agenda item, which did not include a dollar amount, we would not be able to include up to whatever that dollar amount would be.
Yeah, so we couldn't, that's why I realized we couldn't have done it anyway. That's I guess sort of it's a catch-22. All right, thank you. We've done that. Let's go to.
Did we finish voting on that, Colby?
Finish what?
Did we finish voting on that? I'm sorry.
Sorry, what?
It's getting late and I'm confused. Did we finish voting? Did you go through? Because you had Lee and you got no.
Yeah, Lee was a no, and yeah, and Lewis ran the numbers and motion did
Okay,
pass.
all right.
There's
I
12
just
yes, 1
wanna
no.
make sure. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yep, and now let's go to, let's just do motion C. To approve a neighborhood purpose grant, NPG, of up to $4,200 to Toluca Lake Elementary School in order to provide 1 year of supplies supporting the school's Canon poster printer. First on this one?
Robin,
Thanks, Robin. Second?
Arthur.
Sean?
I heard Arthur, Sean.
I guess I heard Sean. Discussion. We'll open this up for discussion. Yes, we're going to go to the board first. Oh, unless Joanne, are you reaching out for?
No, I'm
Lee?
reaching out for myself.
Well, why don't we let the public speak first and then the board will speak?
Hi, Joanne. Are you reaching out
Hi,
for Lee?
yes, I'll be very
public comment. We'll take you after the board comment.
Wait, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
I'm confused. Wait, am I on hold?
Go ahead, Joanne.
I saw Ren first.
Oh, okay.
I anticipate lowering this NPG significantly.
Okay, quick question on item C. Can we just, instead of having it for the full year, can we just do 1,050 for the rest of this year? And have the new board cover the balance going forward in their budget?
Yeah, we can certainly reduce it. And it's just a question of how much, if you know, absolutely, we could reduce it.
Well, I would move, we amend the motion to, instead of cover a full year, that it'd be $1,050 to cover the next 3 months and then go from there.
Okay, or, all right. We have that. So it's $4,200 a year. So that way you can figure it out. 4,200 divided by 12, $350 a month times 3. Yeah, 1050. Not a bad idea. Tess, yeah.
Yeah, a couple things. I appreciate Ren's fiscal conservatism here tonight. Thank you. I don't approve of this much money being paid out for something like this. As I said before, if we approve, you know, oh my God, Sean.
Sorry, I just hurt my knee. Sorry, I apologize.
Sorry, I thought my comment shocked you. We're over $10,000. We're at almost 33% of the budget for, you know, what's on the plate right now. So I would vote no against this, but at a minimum, it has to be reduced. And last but not least, this has come up in the Government Affairs Committee meeting, and we're going to propose language probably after the next committee meeting that NPG recipients need to show, you know, what they've done for the money, because we have a number of NPGs that have been granted and we never get a report back. Like, I would want to know how many posters does $4,200 actually pay for? And that, to me, is really, really critical when we're spending the public's money like this. So that's it. Thanks.
Thanks, Tess. I see Fred.
So I just wanted to say that I really like Ren's idea. And
We
think
lost
we should pursue
Lost.
that, although I think personally, I believe Ren's being too generous. You lost me. Hello?
Yeah, part of
How
your,
about that?
part
Can
of
you hear me
your,
again?
yeah, start again.
Okay, so I just wanted to say I really agree with what Ren said. Although I think he's being too generous, I would eliminate it entirely. And if we're paying all this money to the school going forward, and why are we giving them more money now? So I think Ren's absolutely right to just do the 3 months and let the next, and then what happens, happens. But I would eliminate it entirely. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Thanks, Fred. Let's see, we're gonna wait. Any more board comments? I will note this: the money that we're paying for rent for the school isn't going to the school. It's going to LAUSD, so it's not going directly to the school. And Jeff Daniel over at who's the principal at Toledo Elementary is a great. He if it was up to him, he wouldn't charge us no money would be charged for us to use the facility.
Well, the school can buy all the pencils and stuff. I mean, it's the same thing. I was like, we're paying twice.
Looking for more board member hands up. I don't see any, so I'm going to move to stakeholders, and we're going to move to possibly. Okay, Ren, you want to say one more thing?
Yeah, one last thing. I think we, in the past at least, we were using the printer there at the school. I don't know if we still do, but that was the initial rationale for providing this support was that we would be using their printer upon occasion. And this was kind of a quid pro quo. It wasn't just a gift.
That was correct, Ren. You are correct.
So
I'm not sure which printer. There's actually two printers on the NPG. On the I don't know if it's the Duplo copier or this more expensive poster printer. Probably RNC was using the duplicated copier. That's what I'm thinking, not the poster printer. But okay, any other board member comments? If not, I'm going to take stakeholder comments. We're going to bring this to a vote, and then we're going to take a break, a little 5 or 10 minute break after this vote. All right, I saw Joanne first.
Yes, it should absolutely be 0. I understand that the principal is nice and it's not his fault, but the LAUSD, that's why I have a problem with LAPD, LAUSD. They all have huge budgets. I would really rather see the people's money go to MPGs that can actually, really help the community in different ways. I understand, and it makes sense. We used the printer before. If we're not now, whatever, it should be 0. You're going to have huge budgets coming in now with all these added expenditures, and it's up to LAUSD to supply the money to the schools. So please give them nothing.
Thanks, Joanne.
Colby, can I ask you one thing? Since the total cost of using the elementary school is still very much up in the air, we're not sure how much our costs are. Could I suggest that we postpone this vote and just wait to see? I mean, I know we may go into no man's land and we may not be able to get this money spent before the end of our term, but I'm wondering, would it make sense to hold off on this vote since, maybe
my concern was this. We still haven't totally secured the school.
That's what I mean.
If there's a very, 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 very small chance that if the paperwork isn't processed and the city doesn't, and the LAUSD doesn't get everything back in time, we might not have a meeting in April. This might be our last meeting for a long time.
Yes.
I'm not saying that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. We're on top of it, and Eric and I are on top of this, and everything seems to be moving along.
But there's a chance this could happen.
Well, there's a small chance, yeah. But we could postpone it, but.
Colby, I agree with Robin.
So do I.
We also have motion D later on to talk about. It's a much smaller NPG.
And Catherine still has her hand up because she's had her hand up.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Hi, Catherine.
Hello. I wanted to clarify that, yes, you guys are right that the Duplo duplicator copier is the one that we've paid for in the past. The poster printer is not really relevant to what we do as far as the copying that we've done when we've used the school, because we're not making posters. I also want to note that technically we're supposed to be funding things within this fiscal year. So depending on what quote unquote 1 year means, if this is 1 year that's partially retroactive or if this is 1 year going forward, we would only be able to fund going forward not like a whole year. So to Ren's point about limiting it to 3 months to sort of prorate it for the rest of this fiscal year, that actually might be something that you have to do unless this is 1 year that includes covering past costs. But
And yeah,
I think you're only supposed to do stuff going forward.
I did invite the school on tonight, and I wish they could be here to tell us, what the time frame
Yeah.
is for this.
My recommendation, given that at least for us, we can't like retroactively approve stuff. If someone bought coffee for a meeting in the past without getting it pre-approved, they didn't get reimbursed, even if we later passed a motion to approve that cost. So I would say we should take it as from now through the end of the fiscal year, in order for it not to get kicked back by done.
Okay. Good idea. Thank you. Thanks, Captain. I don't see other hands up, so we're going to. We'll postpone this one. I'd say we postpone this one.
Good idea.
We're all getting kind of tired too, and this is a lot of money as we're getting more fatigued. And I also move that we take a 10-minute break.
3 minutes.
3 minutes?
3 minutes?
Let's do 5 minutes. Let's meet at 9:50 p.m. It's
All right.
9:44 right now.
See you then.
Right. So we all have to turn our cameras off. Don't leave the Zoom meeting. Just mute and turn off your cameras. And we'll meet you back here at 9:50.
Hi, Colby. We're gonna have to take roll again.
Okay. We'll wait till 9:51. Sure, everyone gets on.
That was much needed, Colby.
I had a feeling. You guys are troopers. Thanks for hanging in there.
Well, this is the thing that, you know, when we're in that school and they've got a clock on us.
I know it's hard.
So these meetings, we're trying to cover a lot, and unfortunately,
This is like re-entry back in, you know, like a spaceship trying to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere after.
Yeah.
There's a lot to cover.
Well, and
I've learned a lot over the last month about LAUSD and, you know, in-person meetings. There's a lot here.
well, but you know, when they said that this was going to happen after the pandemic, that was like a restart, a reset button, and everything's going to be different, and people are going to try to recoup money and make up for lost time. So.
Maybe. Joanne, you.
Okay, Colby,
You,
before
Lee?
you start, we need to.
It is
hold on,
about
hold
Lee. Lee wants to say something.
Okay, we got to take roll call before we start the meeting again.
Got it. Okay, just
So
to
is
let
Lee
you know
here?
though.
Can Lee? I'm gonna
He
take roll
is,
call.
yeah,
I'm
he
gonna do
can
Lee
hear
first.
you. Yes.
Lee, can you say here just while I have you? Lee, I'm gonna do roll. It's 9:51. We're returning. All right, let me get my roll call out sheet. Okay, I'm here. Robin,
I'm here.
Arthur,
Here.
Lewis,
I'm here.
yep. Shannon,
Here.
you're back. Thank you. Ren,
Here.
okay. Fred,
Here.
Matt,
Here.
Lee. We'll come back. Susanna is not here. Excuse. Jonathan's excused. Tess,
Here.
Kevin,
Here.
thank you. Sean
Here.
and Jake.
Here.
Jake, thanks, Jake. And back to Lee.
He's in the
Lee, can you say you're
attendees.
here?
Oh, he's in the attendees.
I know he's not able to promote himself to panelist, but Lee, Joanne,
Yeah, I believe it. I had to disconnect from his home phone to talk, but he does want to speak, and I
but he
believe
needs
he's
to
on.
say
Can you
here. He needs to
unmute
say
him?
he needs to say here. Yeah,
Can you unmute him?
I did.
All right,
Just
I'm gonna
don't
call
hear
him
him.
back and see if
Okay.
he can.
Or you can even, like, if you can call him and put the phone up to the speaker, your computer speaker.
Oh, he's not
Tracy.
with me. That's the only thing. It's like
Okay,
I
can
have
you
to call
call
his
him on the
house
phone?
phone.
Can you call him?
Sure.
David, copy me.
Oh, I
there
got
you
him.
go.
Great. Thanks, Lee. Lee's here. Good. Let's move forward.
Okay.
And we were at, oh yeah, motion D. To approve a neighborhood purpose grant, NPG, of up to $835 to Toluca Lake Elementary School in order to provide 1 year of maintenance for the school's duplicator copier. A first?
I'll first it.
Is that Lee?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Lee. And a second for the Duplo copier.
I'll do it, Sean.
Somebody. Please announce your name. I can't.
It was
Is that
Sean.
Sean?
Yeah,
Thank
Sean.
Okay, discussion. Leo, you're gonna have to mute you. There's background noise. Discussion on this copier is similar to the MBG we just postponed. And maybe we should postpone this one as well, since we don't know if it's going to be what fiscal year it'll take place.
Good idea.
Fred.
I agree.
I just
Colby.
want to know, do we still use the copier?
Well, we haven't used copier because we haven't had in-person meetings in 2.5 years. But while we were in the school before the pandemic, I'm told we did use a copier.
Well, we used the copier in a sense because when we would have a meeting, we would print out agendas and various files or papers for the public. They were placed on the back table. So that they graciously printed out our documents, and that's why we paid for their copier. That was my understanding.
And now we're giving them more money and then we haven't used it for 2 years. All right. Thank you.
Okay. And any other comments from the board? If not, I'll move on to stakeholders. I don't see any hands raised, so I'm going to move forward to Joanne and stakeholderville.
Yes, I think since they're charging you, you should either get a discount for what printer costs, or because LAUSD is in charge of the printers, it's not the school. So get your money one way or the other. They need to negotiate that.
And Joanne, go back to Tess.
Hi, Colby, I didn't get my hand up in time. Yeah, I think if we're using the printer, fair enough, but I'd like to know how much we're using it and what the cost of that would be and some sort of neighborhood council friend and family discount, because this is a lot of money for a lot of copying that may or may not be used.
Okay.
And again, this is a reset, everyone. What we did in the past is not important. It's what's going forward. So if you don't feel it's necessary now, we don't have to do it. It's just, it came as an MPG. They asked for money for these motions, and we just need to decide if this is something we want to fund.
I do want to say that we are somewhat of an imposition on Chuluka Lake Elementary School. They are, I believe they are keeping their, or they are making accommodations for us. We are guests at their school. I know we are part of the city, and LUSD is part of the city, and Chuluka Lake Elementary School is part of the city. However, we are guests at the school. I just want to bring it to your attention, and they are not obligated to house us, to do this for us. So they are doing us a favor, although it is costing money. The school isn't directly benefiting, unfortunately, from the fees that we're paying. I wish they were. I wish the money was going right back into Chuluka Lake Elementary. It's going into LAUSD. So,
and
with that being
without
said,
that,
we are somewhat of an imposition on the school, and I think they are doing us, from one perspective, they're doing us a big favor, because I don't know what other options we have. We cannot use the fire department. The room's too small there. It looks really, really difficult to find. If someone else wants to go out and find a private property owner who wants to essentially donate, or their private property to us and at least to the city, that's a tall order. But if you can find that, please bring them to me. Rio Vistas were very nice. Rob and I met with them, but their schedule wasn't as good or as accommodating as Chuluka Elementary. And we also are really supposed to keep, the library really doesn't work because we're supposed to meet within our boundary, and the Amelia Earhart Library is outside the boundary. And anyway, as NoHo police station is also outside the boundary, and that's an issue. Ren.
Yeah, just real quickly, in the past, we were major funders of the garden that was built at the school, and we've supported it with other things along the way. Just as a reminder, we've worked with the school pretty closely over the years.
Yes, and last year I believe we funded a mural for them. Any other comments? What we could do is we're gonna have to, looks like we're gonna have to have a special meeting to discuss the in-person meeting place fees for our committee meetings. Anyway, I could get more information about these NPGs and and when and where this money would be used. And we could put these two motions on the special meeting agenda possibly. That will probably happen before.
And also have a rep from the school that maybe.
Right,
can-
I reached out to the school today, reminded them that we're having this meeting tonight and it's very important. And I don't think we've ever passed an NPG where a representative did not attend the meeting. I think it's very important to then attend the meeting. So, I say we postpone this one as well. That sound good?
Yes.
I agree.
Great. Okay, let's move forward. We've done that. We've done that. We're doing pretty well, guys. Thank you so much. I know it's so late.
Okay, let's go back up to public safety.
Yes.
Or are you done with exec?
We have, yes. Hold on, let me trick one more time before we leave exec. Yes. Postpone. Hold on. Okay, we're done with exec, and we're done with treasurer's report. Go ahead, public safety.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm pretty
Yes.
quick on this one. All of our street lights are on from Camarillo all the way to Clybourne. Every single light. So bravo to everybody for getting this done. And that would be great because we'll light up all of our banners too. We had a really great discussion with people from Toluca Lake Elementary School about the problem with their speed and the safety of Cahuenga by their school. And Tess has offered to work with Zoe Alexander to try to figure out some solutions. And there's not much to report about the catalytic converters, right, Robin?
Yeah, it's just an issue. And you know, if you have the opportunity to lock up your car in a garage, please do so. There's been a lot of catalytic converter thefts, especially with Toyotas and Hondas. It takes 2 minutes to steal one. They're valuable and they're hard to get parts now because there's so many that have been stolen that you might have to wait a period of time to get even a new one. So just letting you know that that's an issue all over the city.
Thank you. And then our final thing is they taught a woman previously, I forgot who it was, who mentioned, I wrote it down. Anyways, about the West Toluca Lake cleanups this weekend. Toluca Lake also has a cleanup. It's Saturday. We start at 7:45 at Priscilla's Coffee for free coffee, and we go from 8 to 10 a.m. And Pat McGee will be in charge. I'll be out of town, and you just bring your own rake and broom. But I also have rakes and brooms here. So hope to see you. Hope they see you here. And that's my report.
Thanks, Shannon. Any comments?
What time does that start, Shannon?
Ours starts at 7:45 for coffee, and then it goes from 8 to 10 a.m.
Is it the same Saturday every month? Is it like
Yes, the last Saturday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any stakeholder comments or questions regarding Shannon's presentation? We're in public safety. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. Thank you, Shannon. I'm going to go back to, sorry, skip over planning and land use. Ren and Fred?
Yeah, real quickly, the community plan is sort of moving forward very slowly. It's one of those stay tuned things. We'll let you know when it's available for public comment. State legislative agenda, I'll defer to governmental affairs on that. The Toluca Lake clock is moving forward. We're hoping within the next 3 months, someplace during the summer, we will see the clock actually get installed, I think. The kiosk GIS update, again, I guess I'll defer to governmental affairs. I don't have any update on that. And then the motion K on the ULA transfer tax motion, I'm sorry, is it K or K?
That's under governmental affairs, Ren.
Yeah, governmental affairs. So with that, move it on to GAC.
All right, any comments from the public? Lee, No one's supposed to reach out to you, make sure you're okay. Make sure you can be heard. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. I don't hear anything. All right, we'll move forward to GAC.
Thank you. Colby, I want to suggest that we go to Matt because the
Oh, I'm sorry.
elections are right around the corner and I appreciate being bumped up. And since the meeting is running long, as long as we can get a vote in for my two motions, that would please me greatly. But Matt's issue, I think, is more important given elections are right around the corner.
Okay.
Or more time sensitive, shall we say.
I mean, you can call me more important. That's fantastic. I'll take it. Okay, so the one thing everybody needs to know is that I've just gone online and I don't see anybody signed up. And we only have until April 8th to sign up. So if any of you are planning to run again, just remember you have until April 8th to submit. So like, be sure that you go online and submit if you have, well, nobody has. So April 8th, that's your due date. We are, and actually maybe Kobe, I'll just say it really fast. So we're trying to figure out if at the next meeting in May or the meeting in June, we could have a candidate forum. So in our general council meeting, we could also just have us introduce ourselves and that we're running. So we're looking to either do that in May or June. It kind of depends on the city and their background check on the folks who wanna run. So,
Do we have any candidates yet, Matt?
not one. There's not one person who's gone online.
Wow.
Actually, the entire, I received an email, the entire NC system is way down in candidates. In fact, Studio City has 0 candidates as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm assuming there has to be somebody on this council who's going to run again, but at this point, no one has. You've got until April 8th. I just want to be like crystal clear about that. And I hear an echo. I don't know is that me?
Yeah, somebody's echoing.
Somebody's echoing, right? Okay, anyway, so then Ren has agreed to volunteer at 2 farmers market with Jake, so I'm gonna make that happen. And I think Erica said it earlier, but just remember she wants to canvass the neighborhoods. So, and she's lovely to do that. So if anybody wants to join her, especially if you are going to run, you should. I'm sure I know she wants to help. She already said it, but definitely reach out to Erica if you are planning to run and, you know, wanna canvas with her. Okay, and the final thing is I've got a motion, unless anybody has any other questions before we get to the motion.
I see Catherine has her hand raised from the stakeholders. I think it was actually, might have been from before, but hi, Catherine. Did I miss you before?
No, it's on this topic. I just want to ask anyone who is thinking of running, go ahead and sign up to run. You can always take it back, but if we can get a couple people signed up, it tends to help more people feel comfortable signing up because no one wants to be the first. So please be the first, sign up. Go to votetolucalake.org to find out all the information about how to sign up. Thank you all.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, so it would be great for one person to finally do it. Okay, and so the motion is what we would like to do is we would like to put up at least 1, if not 2 banners, just to remind people to vote. So I'm sorry, I'm on 19 different screens right here. Okay, so motion is to approve up to $400 for the purchase of 1 or 2 banners so that we can get it up there for the election.
You have to read the motion exactly as written.
All right. I wasn't sure if I was going to read it. So the motion is to approve up to $400 for the purchase of banners and or adjustments to previous reusable banner promoting the GTLNC election and election website. Do I have a first?
I'll first.
Robin.
I think Shannon did. I thought Shannon's hand go up. So Shannon's the first. Who's the second?
Robin.
All right, Colby, do I have to open this? I have to open this
Just ask for discussion.
So I have a quick question. If we end up not buying both banners, like we bought the bags and they still haven't been purchased, I'm just wondering, can we put something in, as amended that if the money does not get spent for these 2 banners in a timely manner, that pending quotes or getting the banners, that the money goes back into our account.
I'm gonna have Catherine's good at this stuff. She's has her hand raised. Hi, Catherine.
Hello. So right now, the motion is written in such a way that, yes, it is up to $400. So anything less than $400, including zero, would mean that the rest is available for other purposes. So that's why we've traditionally done the up to X dollars, so that we're not simply saying 400 is for this. We're saying as much as we need up to this amount is for this, and therefore everything not used gets swept back.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If not, we'll go to vote. All right, I'll do the roll if you want, Matt.
Go for it.
Read the motion one more time.
All right,
Okay,
motion
I'll-
I to approve up to $400 for the purchase of banners and/or adjustments to the previous reusable banner promoting the GTLNC election and election websites. Robin,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
Ren,
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
Matt,
Yep.
Lee.
Affirmative.
Thank you. Susanna is excused. John Gregory is excused. Test.
Yes.
Kevin is ineligible. Sean
Yes.
and Jake is ineligible. And I'm a yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 yeses. That's what I got.
Why is Kevin ineligible?
Because he hasn't completed some finance training.
Ah, okay.
No. It expired. He just has to
Oh, it's
redo
fine.
it.
He has to recomplete.
Okay.
He has to.
I didn't know. I was just informed.
And then 2 ineligibles, and then 2. Okay. No no's.
I just want to have one last thing. I know we're so late, but just as a reminder, again, like if you can canvas with Erica, if you would sign up, or if you would volunteer at the farmers market, it'd be really helpful. We have nobody signed up, so obviously we need to spread the word.
Yep. And if we don't have any candidates, we don't have a council.
Got no candidates at this point. So yeah.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Matt. Motion passes. All right, Tess.
Okay, thank you. Microscopically short governmental affairs committee meeting. We do have some echo. Do we know who the echo is coming from? It's really distracting. All right. Somebody's got.
So how about this? Everyone mute. If you're not speaking, mute yourself.
That would be useful. Thank you. So we've got 2 motions to vote on. The first is a motion J, and I'm delighted that stakeholders and board members are bringing these items forward. Let me read motion J. The Greater Toluca Lake Neighborhood Council supports official action of the Los Angeles City Council file 23-002-S19 brought forward by council members Rodriguez, Krikorian, and Soto Martinez to include in the city's 2023-24 federal legislative program and establish the city's position regarding legislation and administrative action which would condemn Azerbaijan's illegal and unprovoked attack on Armenian territory and call for other actions to result in diplomatic action to open the corridor and ensure safe passage between Armenia and Artsakh, humanitarian assistance and action against the regime in Azerbaijan. This motion is also to be submitted as a community impact statement to Council File 23-002-S19. Do I have a first?
Sean.
Thank you, Sean. Second.
Shannon.
Thank you, Shannon. So technically I'm the first and we would only need 1 second going forward, but I know that's what it's been done. Does anybody have any questions? I think it speaks for itself. All right. So yeah, this is to stand in solidarity with this group. And I thought it was a good idea. We put it on the agenda and it was unanimously approved by the Governmental Affairs Committee meeting. If there are no questions, we can take it to a vote. So any questions or comments from board members or stakeholders? Seeing none and hearing none. Lewis, would you take it away, please?
Okay, you have to read the
Unmuted.
Oh, all right. I'll read the motion once more. Motion J, the Greater Toluca Lake Neighborhood Council supports official action of the Los Angeles City Council, Council File 23-002-S19, to include in the city's 2023-24 federal legislative program and establish the city's position regarding legislation and administrative action which would condemn Azerbaijan's illegal and unprovoked attack on Armenian territory and call for other actions to result in diplomatic action to open the corridor and ensure safe passage between Armenia and Artsakh, humanitarian assistance and action against the regime in Azerbaijan. This motion is also to be submitted as a separate community impact statement to Council File 23-002-S19. Go ahead, Lewis.
Okay. Rob and Alan.
Abstain.
Okay. Arthur.
Yes.
Lewis would be yes. Shannon.
Yes.
Ren.
Yeah.
Fred.
Yes.
Matt.
As much as I love this, I'm gonna also abstain. I'm not quite sure that this is our kind of our thing to do.
Okay. Lee. Yeah. He disappeared. He was on my screen a second ago, and now he's gone. We'll come back. Next person, Tess.
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
Sean.
Yes, sorry.
No worries. And Jake.
Yes.
Okay. And Colby. We all muted because we were hearing echoes. We all have to come back. There we go. Oh, Colby. Thumbs up or thumbs down, Colby? I can see you, can't hear you. Thumbs up. Okay. All right. So motion.
Sorry, so used to be being unmuted. Yes, I'm still looking for Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, do you guys read me?
Yes.
There
Are
it
you,
is.
are you affirmative on this motion?
I am. The internet dropped. That's why I couldn't answer. But yes, affirmative.
Thank you.
3, 4,
Thank
5,
you.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeses, motion passes. 2 abstain. And that is all.
Thank you very much. Moving right along to motion K, also brought forward by a stakeholder and several board members. Letter of action to Council President Paul Krikorian and Council members Nithya Raman, Ulysses Hernandez. GTLNC supports repeal of the United to House LA tax, also known as Measure ULA, and also known as the Homelessness and Housing Solution Tax and the quote unquote mansion tax. May I have a first?
Lee.
First, Fred.
Lee. Okay, Lee and Fred, thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah,
I agree with this. I think it's just another tax. I think it's misguided, and I think it's bad news. I really do. I think it's a trap. Anyway, Matt.
Thank you, Colby.
Yeah, thank you. So while I understand why you guys are probably going to vote yes on that, and again, do you mind? I think Colby, I think it's you. Maybe it's your.
Yeah, Colby, you're the problem with the echo.
You're the problem. Yeah, I think you're the problem with the echo. There you go. I'm not echoing anymore, right? So how I would love to see this would be, instead of repealing it, to say we want an audit, we want like a monthly report on how the funds are being used. We want to see an actual impact. We talk about the homeless on this council every single month, and everybody wants something to be done about it. I also want something to be done about it. If this is the way it's going to get done, I'd love to see reporting, right? I want to hold our mayor and our city council members accountable. So for me, I will be voting no on this because that's what I'd love to see. That's the amendment I'd like to see. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Any other comments? Shannon?
I'm not sure I understand it.
Colby, would you like to explain this?
Yes, it's a tax on any, not only sale, but any transfer of real property, it can be commercial or residential, of $5 million or more, and it's a 4% tax on the
I know
sale
that one.
price
Okay.
side. Yeah, and it's not, so it's not, and say mansion tax, it sounds like there's tax houses that are 10,000 square feet or more. It's any property that's 5 million or more, and then so for instance, if you gift, or if you have a property that you bought many years ago, and has now hit the $5 million threshold for value, and it's in your will and you pass away, or you gift it to your children or relatives, that tax is still enforced, and about $200,000 right there. And then it escalates. I believe Kevin might know, but I think it's about $8 or $9 million. It goes up even farther. So and I gotta say, there's money right now for homeless, and as we saw, the homeless have facilities that they can go to. They're refusing to go to facilities. They're refusing help, and no amount of money in the world is going to change people's refusal to utilize city services that are already being offered. So I don't see this as a benefit. I think it's just going to chase people out of California.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Colby. Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, it's an even bigger issue than that. I mean, first of all, it's not just houses. This was positioned as going after rich people. This is every single real estate transaction in the city of Los Angeles. We're not just talking about mansions. We're talking about commercial buildings, apartment buildings. All that's going to happen here. First of all, the city has enough money to tackle the homeless situation, in my opinion. We've passed numerous ballot initiatives to pump money into solving this crisis. All this is stealing from people. They're stealing from people. Think of somebody worked hard. They bought a property for, and it's a lot of money, but say $1 million, however long ago, and now that property is worth $5 million. The current transfer tax of the city of Los Angeles is 0.45% for every real estate transaction. This is now something like a 300% increase. So you're basically stealing on a $5 million transaction $200,000 from somebody just when they go and sell their property. It's not fair. It should have never passed, and I'm absolutely against this.
Thank you, Kevin. We have any more comments or questions from board members? If not, we'll go to stakeholders.
Time real quick. It's also not on the profit. So even if a property went down in value.
No, it's on the gross. This whole thing was drafted by people that don't understand business. That's a great point. If you sell it 5 million, let's say, and it's a loss, it doesn't matter. You still pay the tax.
Would it hurt the single family dwelling people?
It hurts everybody that owns real estate.
Copy.
It's not just this is not just about developers, Lee.
Okay.
Let's go to if folks could all mute themselves who aren't speaking, that would be great to avoid the echo. Joanne Rivas.
Yes, the wealthy, like everyone wants to attack the wealthy, but we forget they're the job creators. If it's not for the wealthy people, really the rest of people don't have jobs. And to then just add to where they are now, become the welfare state to fund, homelessness and all these things. It's to me, it is egregious. It's not fair. And at the same time, but like you said, at $5 million here in LA, it's not hard to you can have a pretty small building probably worth $5 million. And a lot of people, families that maybe put their money together to own a store, own a small complex, and they're just getting by themselves. They're not wealthy, and they're just trying to get by. So to put the burden on them as well is not fair. The city, it has money. It's the state has money. There is money out there. And so I just want to say it is completely unfair. It needs to go.
Thank you, Joanne. Catherine.
Hi, I think that what Matt said earlier was actually a pretty good idea. And obviously that's not what's on the agenda this evening, but I think it would be something to consider for future. I do want to note that despite what has been said, this is not on all properties. This is on properties valued at over 5 million, which is not all properties. So this is not going to affect the average single family dwelling. This is affecting more expensive real estate, and that includes both single family and more corporate type real estate. And I'm not saying that it's a perfect law, but I do think that it is misleading to say that it applies to all real estate. It only applies to properties over 5 million, which does actually significantly reduce what it applies to.
Thank you, Catherine. I did not say that, but if it was said,
You didn't
Catherine
say
is correct.
Kevin said that.
Okay.
No, I did not say that. What I said is it's all real estate transactions starting at 5 million, not every real estate transaction. And if you misunderstood what I said, when I say every real estate transaction, it's not just houses. It's every real estate it's a 300%
Yes,
tax.
I understand that. But when you were asked by Lee if it was applying to single family dwellings, you said it applies to everything, and you did not make that clarification at that
But
time.
he was thinking that it was applying to developers. It's not applying to developers. It's every real estate transaction starting at $5 million. So I get it. Anyway.
Kevin, we have clarification. I think, that's clear now. So thank you to both of you. We have a question from Fred.
Yes, I heard Kevin say that it's going to hurt everybody, including single family houses, and it will, because when the corporate starts paying those things, they're going to pass it on to everyone that buys at the stores, that live in apartments or houses. It's going to hurt everybody. I think that's what Kevin's point was.
Yes.
But over 5 million, I just want to clarify that. That's what I heard. Thank you.
Yeah, the costs will be passed on. Colby?
Yeah, real quick. Also realize that you could own a $5 million piece of property and be subject to this tax, but you might owe $4 million to the bank on it. So let's say it's frequent. Someone owns 20% of their cash. So it's not like you own a $5 million piece of property outright and it's all your money. You might owe $4 million, have a $4 million mortgage on a $5 million piece of property, and you're still subject to this $200,000 tax on the five. So that's the huge. So for instance, if you actually own physically, $1 million of a $5 million property, and you get hit with this tax, that means your $1 million equity in the property is knocked down by $200,000 if you pass it on to a family member or someone like that. Or you see what I'm saying? So it's not like you have $5 million in worth in that property. It still hits you and the next person too.
Thank you, Colby. So Shannon, then Lewis. Shannon, no questions? Okay. Lewis?
So I did just want to say, someone that does manage commercial properties, it is the way this law was written. That is the challenge. It may be good in theory, but the way commercial leases are written, the tenants share in the tax burden of the overall property. So it does impact all those small businesses that may have signed a lease if the tax goes up on the transfer of a commercial property. So it is important to kind of know the trickle down effect of this, as some others have pointed out on this call.
Thank you. So, all right. So we've had Joanne and Catherine ask their questions. I will just say one last thing, that in my role as budget rep for this neighborhood council, I've been digging into city budgets. There's so much money out there. It's really, really something. And I'm okay with spending if we get value on a return on our investment. And what I would like to see is the money currently budgeted and being spent to show better results. There are a number of organizations and departments that the LA Housing Services Authority, for example, when I asked them, are they audited? Their response was, we self-audit. And that's just one example of something that I think needs to be more, an organization that has to be more responsible a more responsible fiduciary. So unless there are any further comments or questions, I think we can take it to a vote. All right, so I'm going to read motion K. A letter of action to Council President Paul Krikorian and Council members Nithya Raman and Ulysses Hernandez that GTLNC supports repeal of the United to House LA tax, also known as Measure EULA, and the Homelessness and Housing Solution Tax, and the Mansion Tax. Louis, take it away.
Am I muted? No, I'm not muted. Okay. Robin.
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Arthur?
Yes.
Yes. Louis, yes. Shannon?
Yes to repeal, yes?
Yes.
Yes, that is how
Okay,
it's written. Fred?
Yes.
Matt?
No.
Okay. Lee?
Yeah, thank you, Catherine, for clarifying. That's exactly what I meant. So if it doesn't affect the single family dwelling, then that's forced.
So that's a yes, Lee?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, Susan, Jonathan, not here. Tess?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
And Jake?
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm a yes also. Yeah.
Oh, Colby, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 4,
Hold on,
5.
did we get Ren?
Ren, yes, Ren?
Yes.
Okay, there you are. I don't know.
No, this is a financial matter. I wonder if Jake tapped. Probably Jake isn't eligible.
Yeah, I would suggest Jake not vote.
And
on
actually,
this.
Kevin, I think you might be too, technically. I'm sorry. It's a
Wait,
financial-
because it's a. Well, okay.
But this has nothing to do with the budget. We're not.
Yeah, the financial training I thought is for voting on financial matters with regards to our budget.
No, I'm
Okay.
planning and land
Okay.
use.
Good,
Or
good.
something.
Don't
I think you're good. All right, so motion does pass, and I'll take the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 yeses, 1 no, and an abstain.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Let me just zip through everything else. I'm going to update on the Southern California company's request to increase gas rates applications. Their application was submitted. Everybody has been complaining bitterly about massive increase in gas bills. This went before the California Public Utilities Commission, which a day after the second hearing on March 15th, opened a new proceeding to investigate causes and impacts of the natural gas price. Governor Newsom and several other elected reps have also written to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, asking it to investigate whether market manipulation, anti-competitive behavior, and or other anomalies have contributed or are contributing to the high prices seen throughout the West this winter. So that's in the works. Watch this space for details. On to the next item, update on the municipal lobbying ordinance, Council File 220560. We've passed several motions or several community impact statements here at Greater Toluca Lake Neighborhood Council in support of reform of the lobbying, municipal lobbying ordinance. There was a vigorous debate yesterday at the ad hoc committee meeting on city governance reform. And the good news is that those in favor of reform have proposed several very good amendments led by committee chair Nithya Raman, which many of us favor, but which in the view of some of us, including Raman herself, don't go far enough. But things are moving forward, so watch this space for more details. But the most important issue here is consistency with ethical principles. So the dividing line is, are you paid or are you not paid when you bring forward a matter? That is the only time that we need to know what's going on. So watch the space for details. Update on the Los Angeles World Airport's Board of Airport Commissioners relative to dangerous conditions, 24/7 noise, pollution from planes, expansion of flight paths at local airports. We were supposed to get a more detailed report from a stakeholder at our last meeting, but she ended up not being able to attend. I will provide more information at our next meeting since we're running long here tonight. But those of you who have concerns about airport noise, especially Burbank Airport, please let me know and or come to our next Government Affairs Committee meeting, which is April 4th, Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. No further updates on council's district seats and possible redistricting. I'll provide more detail at a later time when we have, we're not running so long into overtime. And I want to welcome David Dry, the new field deputy in the San Fernando Valley office of Catherine Barger, supervisor, 5th District, Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors. We've lost Jason Maruka, who's now gone over to the Burbank Water Company as a legislative deputy. And last but not least, we've welcomed a new Governmental Affairs Committee member, Logan Dalton. You can come see him in action at our next meeting, and he's particularly interested in environmental affairs. So we're happy to have him, and that's it for me. Thank you. You're muted, Colby.
I forgot. I do see Joanne had her hand raised. Joanne, do you have a comment or question?
Oh, sorry, Joanne. I just rolled through it so fast. I did not see you.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I meant to put that down. My bad.
Okay.
Carry on.
All right. Ongoing business. I think there's that. 100th anniversary banners. Today I received a signed motion from Paul Kokorian. So we're moving the banners forward. They will be appearing, I'm told, on the city agenda for vote. I'm not sure which meeting it'll be voted upon. I'm hoping Friday, but I'm not sure. But it is moving forward. Any comments or questions? No. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna look back on this agenda, make sure we didn't miss anything, because it looks like we're at the close of the meeting. Rob, Lewis, can you just go through and just verify we've covered everything before we close the meeting?
Yes, hold on.
Every committee has spoken.
Yep,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I
And
don't.
unless we do an in-person special a Zoom special meeting, we are scheduled to meet in person, and we're not sure where that's going to be. So
Well,
stay tuned.
yeah, stay tuned. But I will probably see you at a special meeting very soon. Before
This is Lee with one quick suggestion. There's another option we have for the meeting would be the St. Elizabeth Convalescent in the main lobby. It's an idea, or police station in that little room. That's it.
Yeah, I've looked at the police station, and I'm told that we really need to keep it in our boundaries, and and the police station outside the boundaries.
But St. Elizabeth is in the boundaries. It's at
Isn't the
Biloxi, and there's no.
and if you want to reach out to them, what we need, unfortunately, we would need a signed lease with St. Elizabeth's, and that would take about 60 to 90 days, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Because the city attorney has 60 days to go over the lease, and then there's probably another 30 or so days on either side of that, and that's with them agreeing upon leasing the property for nothing. So I really need to close the meeting. It's almost 11 o'clock.
Well, we have a note from Glenn Bailey.
Oh, yes. Hi, Glenn. It's really late.
I know.
How you doing, Greg?
I just heard a couple dates thrown out there about a possible special meeting. Unfortunately, the last day we can hold a virtual meeting is March 29th. I just want to make sure you're aware of that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. I know it's coming up very soon, very soon. And so check your emails, because the special meeting will be a 24-hour. I have 24 hours to do that. 24 hours lead time. So it'll be a quick meeting, and just check your emails, because it's important that this is a very, very important meeting. With that, I'm going to close this meeting, which will be the last general board meeting via fully Zoom, which is, closing this, a piece of history. And good night, and thank you so much for hanging in there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Hey, guys.
Night.